Good afternoon and welcome to the Sportsman for a Betfred Challenge Cup cracker. We're at the Millennium Stadium in Featherstone. Featherstone Rovers versus Wakefield Trinity, a local derby. Two neighbours, of course, but they haven't met each other since 1998 in a competitive game. Alongside me to bring you this one, a man who's been grinning like a Cheshire cat all day after Friday night is Salford Red Devils head coach Paul Rowley. Paul, this has all the feelings, all the makings of a real cup classic, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and like I said before, it's a bit of a throwback. It's just looking a little bit like winter rugby, and I think all the change of direction plays against the grains. The fact that they're playing predominantly hookers in the loose forward position, so maybe looking for the quicker men to catch the bigger boys off foot and just gain some inroads and get some territory, which is going to be crucial today. So territory and kicking game will be first on the list for both coaches, I would imagine, today.
I don't want to spend all afternoon banging on about the conditions, but it is wet. It is pretty grim out there. If you had your head coach hat on, what would you be saying to your players?
Yeah, absolutely that. I think complete high, get some territory, and just ball security. So making sure you're playing with the passes well before the line. Lots of change of direction plays, but ultimately it's going to be the kicking game. So the spine, the kickers, the pivots of both teams are going to have a big part to play today, and obviously the kick chase and building pressure and spending time down those. The territory is going to be key, and kicking game will be the contributing factor to making sure one of these teams wins that battle.
Well, there's the views of Salford head coach Paul Rowley, but let's get the views of the two head coaches on duty this afternoon, James Ford and Darryl Powell. Well, James, thank you for joining us. A big test for your side this afternoon, but one that you must be really looking forward to.
Yeah, we're really excited. We've had a good week in training. Obviously, we're well aware of Wakefield's key strengths and the investment they've put into their squad and the coaching staff. But you don't play rugby league on paper, mate, and we were looking forward to setting about them today.
It was always a standout game when the draw happened. Obviously, the Super League clubs coming in the next round. There's plenty on the line this afternoon. It can't be difficult firing your players up today.
No, well, we've not thought about anything other than today. Wakefield deserve that. They're a quality team, as we've already alluded to, and we're just ready for the challenge. We're looking forward to it. We're excited by it. We know what's required from us, and we'll look forward to delivering it.
Conditions obviously going to have an impact. How important is your leadership group going to be on a difficult afternoon like this?
The conditions are the same for both teams. I won't make any excuses about it. I don't think Pauli will. We've had a chat technically about and tactically about some of the things that you might adjust in conditions like this, but we've got our plan, mate, and ultimately it's about our effort areas today. Kick, chase, kick as hard, kick long, chase hard. Attack the ball when they're coming out of their own end. Plenty of drops, angle change, stuff against the grain. Not too many pressure passes, and we're all on board, we're all aligned, and we're looking forward to get into Wakefields.
You've been building into this game obviously through the early rounds of the Cup and 1895 games, championship season just around the corner. Do you think you've got a good idea of where your side's at ahead of that?
Yeah, but we're rebuilding the team this year. We're on a journey. There's 20 odd players left the club between the end of last season and now. We've made some great strides. We've played some good stuff up to now. Obviously, we didn't quite hit our standards against Batley, and they deserve to win the game. But we learned some lessons from that, and there's a couple of new players coming into the team, into the squad recently. There'll be a couple more, and we'll grow through the season and look to time it right.
And obviously a local derby. It'll be a pretty intense atmosphere in here come kick-off. How much can you guys use that to your advantage?
Yeah, always. Featherstone supporters are incredibly passionate. They'll be looking forward to the game just as much as we are, and we're looking to excite them as much as we want them to excite us. They know what they're watching. They'll appreciate our effort today, and I'm sure they can help us make the difference.
Well, best of luck this afternoon.
Thanks for your time, mate.
Well, Darryl, when this one came out the hat, a lot of excitement around it. Obviously, two local rivals, a big cup game. You must be really looking forward to this afternoon.
Oh yeah, look, challenging conditions for both teams. So it'll be a real tough game. Absolutely, I think look at Featherstone team and they're pretty physical. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. Good challenge for us. We're building a team, obviously, and this is the stiffest test that we've faced so far.
Yeah, you mentioned it's the hardest test so far. What are you expecting to learn from your side this afternoon?
Oh, just where we're at in terms of durability and toughness, because this is going to be a really tough game of rugby league today, and how we manage a game. We learned some lessons, I think, from last week, and yeah, we just want to improve each week. But obviously, it's knockout rugby league, so we want to win the game, and that's what it's all about.
Conditions are what they are. It's obviously going to be a wet one, a sticky one underfoot. Is that going to affect the type of rugby league that you're going to play?
Oh, I reckon. Yeah, playing the conditions is really important, and is what it is. It's been pretty good all week, hasn't it? But you get what you get, and we just got to manage them well. We've got two smart halfbacks out there, and I like our pack, and we've got to, they've got to do the job. Obviously, the outside backs, they'll have to do it tough as well, and we've just got to do what we need to do to win the game. So I don't think you're going to be seeing the ball going from one side of the field to the other today. It just is what it is, and the team that manages that best will probably win this game.
And there's a lot on the line, knockout football, as you say, Super League clubs coming into the next round, and of course plenty of local bragging rights as well. How do you kind of combat as an away side coming into an environment against a team and a crowd that's going to be incredibly fired up?
Oh, don't worry about that too much. I remember from my times playing that once you get out there, you just crack on with the job. You don't really hear too much going on around you. It's just focused on what you're doing, and I expect that from the boys today, is to do the jobs and grow as a team. I think that's what the early part of this season is about. Challenge Cup, I don't know, we seem to have been in it forever at the moment, and we've just got to do our job.
Well, best of luck this afternoon.
Thank you.
So James Ford and Darryl Powell are ready for battle in this local derby this afternoon. Let's run you through the team sheets. So the rain continues to come down here at Featherstone Rovers, the home side, lining up as follows with Caleb Akins in at fullback. They've got Manoa Wako-Coke and Gareth Gale, second highest try scorer in the championship last season, on the wings. Josh Hardcastle and Connor Wynn make up the centres for the home side. Danny Addy and Thomas Lacans in the halves, and in the forward pack for Featherstone this afternoon, Gadwin Springer, Connor Jones and Jack Bussey make up the front row. Brad Day and Brad England in behind them, with Harry Bowles locking in the pack. And on the interchange bench for the home side, Morris Camano, Wellington Albert, Zach Fishwick on loan from Hull KR, and Keenan Tomlinson are the interchanges for the Rovers. And for Trinity, making the short journey over, they start off with Max Jowett at fullback, Romain Franco and Lachlan Walmsley, who was the top try scorer in the championship for Halifax last season. They've got Josh Griffin and Oliver Pratt inside them in the centres. Luke Gale, all that Challenge Cup experience, a winner of this competition, of course, is joined by Mason Lino in the halves. And in the forward pack for Trinity, Josh Bowden, Liam Hood and Ranouf Atoni make up the front row. Matty Ashurst and Jay Pitt sitting behind them, with Thomas Doyle at loose forward. And on the interchange bench, Harvey Smith, Caleb Uhl, Isaiah Vagana and Noah Booth for Trinity. So there's the two sides. Paul, where's this going to be won and lost?
Yeah, well, obviously in conditions like this, you've got to say that the forwards are going to have a big part to play, aren't they? So forwards and a kicking game is where it's going to be won and lost. And we've got effectively what is a Super League side turning up today in Wakefield. So, but what you can be rest assured of is not many of these Wakefield players will have been rocking up with the Louis Vuitton wash bags, thinking that they're better than this championship arena right here. These guys have been here before. People like Luke Gale, they spent a lot of time and learned the trade in championship. So they won't be fazed by what's in front of them today. The conditions, the atmosphere that's going to be hostile, and a good old-fashioned local derby. So two sides today, very evenly matched in my opinion, but I just feel Wakefield are a little bit bigger, and I think Luke Gale's kicking game is going to be a real key part of today's game.
You can tell me when we come off air which Salford players are rocking up with Louis Vuitton wash bag roll. It's obviously a local derby, there's going to be a lot of that in this, but there's a lot to play for. This stage of the Challenge Cup, the Super League teams coming in the next round. it might be a little bit nervy out there at times.
Yeah, it feels a little bit nervous, doesn't it? The atmosphere. So, and just listen to both coaches there. That you could see that there's some seriousness about the game. It means a lot to both clubs. And forget the Challenge Cup. I think first and foremost, it is the bragging rights. You can't hide that fact that this is massive. These two clubs are just up the road from one another, and both passionate rugby league towns. So, City in Wakefield's case, but. The Challenge Cup is the prestigious cup, and they get in the round with the Super League clubs in the last 16, and it's only 4 rounds off getting to a Challenge Cup final. So there's a benchmark, there's money at stake in terms of a big crowd in the next round, and also there's the hope and dream that every player starts this game with, that they can get there and grace the hallowed turf.
Yeah, really strong crowd building up around us. Wakefield fans travelled in their numbers over to our left-hand side. A real sense of anticipation of what might happen this afternoon. As I mentioned earlier, they've not met each other in a competitive game since 1998. So a rare opportunity to settle some local bragging rights, of course, in the same division this year. So they'll have a couple more pops at each other throughout the season in the Betfred Championship. But today, it is all about that trophy. The Betfred Challenge Cup in all its glory. 2 famous old clubs, and an opportunity to go through to the 6th round of the Betfred Challenge Cup. And who knows, Rolls, you may be back here in a couple of weeks' time with your Salford players.
Well, maybe, just maybe. So it's going to give me good insight. And like I said, I've been here many, many times before coaching in Championship, and it's always a tough battle. And of course, Darryl Powell, the coach of Wakefield's, spent many a good year here coaching Featherstone. He's had, he had a proud record here, and probably kick-started a bit of an upturn in Featherstone, and the reputation that they've got now for being a really solid and strong contender for that Super League spot year on year. So it's a great place to come and play. Like I said before, it's hostile, it's tough. You always know you're in for a battle, no matter what level you're playing at, and I don't think today will be any different whatsoever. Yeah,
Darryl Powell very excited about the project that they're building down the road at Wakefield, but he knows they've got a stern test on their hands this afternoon, the sternest test of the season so far. Featherstone team that would very much enjoy turning them over here at the Millennium Stadium, Post Office Road, famous old rugby league ground. This afternoon, another chapter of history being written as 2 local neighbours come head-to-head for the first time in a long, long time. Rain still teeming down here. I think that's going to be a factor, a feature throughout the afternoon. But as James Ford said earlier, it is the same for both sides. No excuses, nowhere to hide. That's the beauty of the Betfred Challenge Cup. That's why we love it. Wembley on the horizon. But where else would you rather be than watching this on the Sportsman this afternoon? As soon as these 2 teams came out of the bag in that draw, a real sense of anticipation and excitement for this game. Let's see if it lives up to the billing. 2 teams just lining up in the tunnel, ready to come out. And Paul, what would the nerves be like for those teams at the moment lining up?
Well, there's a lot of players who've been here before, haven't there? So I think they'll be pretty chilled. They'll be pumped about it. They'll be looking forward to just finally getting this season up and running. They've been playing about with the early rounds of other competitions, and not quite feel that they're up and in the swing of things. But this is definitely kick-starting their season right here today. So there's some real intriguing individual battles as well, isn't there? With Lachlan Walmsley and Gareth Gale, Luke Gale, and then Danny Addy on the other side as well, who's been around, and he's a fantastic rugby player. So he'll be challenged, he'll be excited about today as well.
So here come the 2 sides. Wakefield Trinity out first. Behind them, the home side, Featherstone Rovers, led out by Danny Addy. Man you know very well, of course, Rolls. A few of your former charges out there this afternoon.
Yeah, he's fantastic, Danny Addy. He's a real he's a real rugby player. They've put him in at half-back today. He's a loose forward by trade. He can play at 9, he can play at back row, he can play at prop. He's a fantastic rugby player, and this guy doesn't matter where he's playing, what field he's playing at. He's a good rugby player. He's got a good knowledge, and he's a competitor. So he's going to relish the challenge today of coming up against someone with such a good reputation and standing in the game in Luke Gale. So, yeah, it's just one of many intriguing battles.
Yeah, Luke Gale, so much experience, of course. A winner of this competition with Leeds, scored that drop goal in the final. Now looking for more history this afternoon. Before the game, we are going to have a minute's applause in memory of Wakefield fan Tyler Wilson, who very sadly lost his life at just the age of 17 recently. Our thoughts, of course, go out to his family and friends. We'll have a minute's applause before the game. So Ben Thaler is the referee this afternoon, and we get underway. Wakefield will get first taste of the football, taken in very calmly by Luke Gale, and Trinity get us underway, rolling from right to left on your screens. These early stages are going to be so important, aren't they, just to settle into this game. You don't want to make an error early on here.
No, absolutely. You can see as well with the catch, they're catching it early. They're really tucking it in old school, aren't they, just to make sure they control that ball. So some big contacts, though, in this early 3 tackles there from Featherstone, so it's a good start.
So Liam Hood at dummy half brings us out to the right-hand side. In there again for Trinity. A little bit of a messy ruck, but the referee says get on with it. Springer comes flying out, making an early contact for Featherstone, and now Lino will put the first kick out of hand of the game in. The ball just bobbling about.
No intent.
It'll be a difficult afternoon, you sense, for both back threes dealing with the ball in these conditions, but so far so good. Wakefield's kick pressure very strong. Josh Bowman in the tackle there. And Wakefield will start this set 20 metres inside their own half. Again, Bowden in the tackle, really strong first contact. Those metres up the middle are going to be so important this afternoon as Springer brings it in. He's met well by a number of Wakefield defenders. Tom Doyle loose forward in there. And Tony Renouf as well. Now Featherstone bring it out to this near side. This is the last, so they'll be kicking from just inside their own half. It goes out, there's a lot of pressure on the kick. Walmsley fields it. Not a huge amount of territory made there. And Wakefield showing some early signs that they're going to try and play, even in these conditions.
Yeah, I think it's great kick pressure, wasn't it, from Matoni there. I think what you can't underestimate is that on this field, the amount of slope that there is and how tough a challenge Wakefield have got in this first half. The kick pressure becomes really important to, we spoke about kicking game, to just enable them to, there's a referee just blowing up, not sure what for.
Just coming over to this far side, I'm not entirely sure what the delay's for at this point. I think there might be some blood. Can't see who it is on the Featherstone side the doctor's gone over to.
Just saying though, the kick pressure and them little things, the sacrificial acts. You've got to be really honest. They've got a tough half this half, Wakefield, and they've started it really well. And it's a sign of their intent. But yeah, they've got some good low tacklers as well. Liam Hood got really undue. We talk about the new rules and that. Well, Liam Hood's a prime example of, and I think it was the third tackle that he got under somebody's ribs. And it was a great start for him, so great contact both sides.
Brad England just getting some attention, getting bandaged up.
Just wait there.
The delay, and Wakefield will start with the ball just inside the Featherstone half.
We've got a local ref, Ben Thaler as well. Everything's got a local flavour. There's the contact.
There's the tackle. A few efforts in there. All fairly innocuous, but obviously he's come away with a bit of a cut. Bandaged up, back up and running, so Josh Griffin will play the ball and we get back underway. Hood brings it out. Bowden with the carry. He's brought down just short of the 40-metre line. Hood with options left and right. Comes out to the right-hand side. Just poking his nose through there is Tom Doyle. He's brought down. This is the last. So Wakefield come out to the right to Lino. He puts a hanging kick up in the air. It'll be a difficult one. Plenty of pressure. Well dealt with in the end. But Wakefield will be very happy with where they're ending that set.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good catch, wasn't it, from, I think it was Caleb Aikens down there for Featherstone, but Lino putting it in that corner, that 10 by 10 metre square, right where they want him. It's a fantastic set for Wakefield.
Caleb Aikens, formerly of Lee, of course, had some great battles with the Centurions as they were then against Featherstone. Now on the other side of that, playing for the Rovers, who look to try and march downfield as much as they can. And again, just a slightly disjointed ruck, but Thaler tells them to get on with it. Addy drops it back on the inside to Springer. He's brought down on the 40-metre mark, and already that's the last. Wakefield will be pleased with that defensive effort. We come out to the right-hand side. The kick goes up. Wormsley again underneath it, takes it cleanly. Brings it back, where he's met by Hardcastle. And England in the tackle as well. Wakefield just looking to get themselves on top in this arm wrestle. Oliver Pratt bringing it in. Gale at acting half, brings it out to the right-hand side. Josh Griffin, another one of those players in this Wakefield team, stacked with Super League experience, of course. Back to where it all started for him. Gale, he drops it off to Matty Ashurst. Ashurst brought down on the halfway line. Featherstone doing a good job so far in this set. Lino just keeping it in those tram lines for the time being. This is the last, so they'll kick from just inside the Featherstone half again. Lino puts another high one up for Aikens to deal with. Again, the kick pressure's good, but he's done well, the full-back. Featherstone will be pleased with the way that they've seen out some of these sets. Yeah, they will. It was a really conservative set for Wakefield, though. They finished every play there with a play against the grain. I think it was Griffin first, Asher second. And like I said before, they're just worried about completion and territory. But Featherstone, well, it is the arm wrestle, isn't it? It is the arm wrestle that we always talk about. There's not a lot going on, just relying and waiting for that first error, trying to force an error through Frosty and defence both teams. So, but you do feel that Featherstone are creeping their way into some better territory now as they go down the short side. Yeah, quick short side play, and that's a good carry for some extra metres made. This is the last, but it's probably the furthest forward that they'll have kicked from so far. This one goes up. Down the middle, Max Jowett underneath it. Had to just reposition himself a little bit, but he does well to bring it in safely. And this is the furthest back that we've seen Wakefield start a set pretty much since kickoff. Yeah, really, two good sets from Featherstone with the ball. I thought we saw Danny Addy and Jab Bussey in particular have two good involvements in the previous set. And then that short side play there, I think what we'll see from Springer comes flying in on Wormsley.
All we'll see from Featherstone is they'll target Luke Gale and target Mason Lino. They'll really try and put some pressure on the third defenders in for Featherstone, see them as softer spots to go at rather than go up the big Trinity middle units. So Wakefield come on the short side. Ashurst on that occasion brought down. Gale will look to put the kick in. Gets it in between the fullback and the winger, so just turns them around, but in the end taken in by Gareth Gale, I think it is, on that far side. And a penalty, the first of the match, so an opportunity for Featherstone to get the first real field position of the game. Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? The one thing I've not mentioned is the discipline, and there's the first penalty of the game. So for that also important field position we've spoke about, well, this is, like you say, Featherstone's first crack now. They're starting a set in the Wakefield half, and yeah, they'll be looking to get, at worst, a repeat here and build some pressure and take some energy out to these Wakefield legs. Yeah, Josh Griffin just unable to make the first contact stick, and then riding high with the second attempt in the tackle. So a penalty for Featherstone, an opportunity as Aikens brings them out to the left-hand side. There's that short side again, straight just at, short. Yeah, straight at Lino, looking to make him do some work there. Bring it up the middle. Kamano on the field. He's brought down dead centre, about 35 metres out. So they come out to the right-hand side with Addy. He brings it out the back, and then just a little inside line from England. Brings it up to the 30. Just some space is starting to appear, maybe. Again, dead centre. And they come over to the left. And now bring it right up to the line. He's Aikens. Just pokes his nose through, but in the end, Lino able to bring him down. This is the last, but the first attacking kick position for either side. It's a real messy
ruck and messy pass from dummy half. It's stabbed through. And in the end, a wasted opportunity for Featherstone.
Yeah, it was unlucky. There's a bit more urgency with the Featherstone team there. It's actually turned out to be a decent looking kick, but was a little bit reactive on it. He has followed through there, Connor Jones, totally accidental, but is it Max Jowett?
Yeah, it's Jowett that's just in a little bit of bother down there.
It's like a bit twisted his ankle. Doesn't look too comfortable, does he? That'd be a huge loss for Wakefield. He's a fantastic player.
He's back up on his feet, Jowett. Another one with loads of experience, just trying to run that off.
Again, we've seen Lino coming up with 2 or 3 tackles in that set, so I think they've set the... Oh, there's a penalty.
Walmsley bringing it in off the tap. Will get the penalty.
Yeah, it's a tough one. The Featherstone players all claimed he slipped, which he did. However, I think we're all clear on the responsibilities with the defender to protect his opponent's head at all times. So
Gale sticks the penalty right up near us in the gantry. Wakefield will start with the ball. Yeah, there's the penalty as they just come over the top. It's England. Lachlan going to ground, but England, as you've said, we all know the rules, just falling foul of that. So Wakefield with the ball just inside the Featherstone half. Springer again. He's already made a number of strong contacts, hasn't he? Looking to assert some dominance in the middle. Lino just drops it off, and Wakefield 30 metres away. Keeping it very central as they have done. 10-2 so far in this game, but now Gale looks to bring it out to the left. Jowett does work to get the ball away. And Oliver Pratt still going. Eventually they do bring him down. Still extra metres still in the tackle. So this is the first opportunity that Wakefield have had to put the Featherstone line under any kind of pressure. Gale brings it up to the line. Long looping ball out. Goes behind Walmsley, who has to go back and clean it up. He's brought down without any extra yards made. So this is the last. And Gale puts the kick in. Keeps it left, puts it high. It's too long. Featherstone survive, and it'll be a 20-metre tap.
Yeah, just off with his detail, wasn't it, Luke Gale there? He's tried to get rid of a rush defence, just throwing a lot of cut-out pass, but the execution's just not quite there. And then followed that with a sloppy kick, really, giving him a 7-tackle set, and a penalty to compound it as well.
So Gale got his side on the front foot, and then a penalty for his efforts as well. Featherstone again with an opportunity to get themselves downfield. We use that word arm wrestle so often, Paul, but that is exactly what we're in. Neither team really throwing much of a punch yet so far. Yeah, interesting to see how long that goes on before someone starts to just try and play a little bit in this.
Yeah, I think you pointed it out earlier, though. What you can see is a little bit of a softening up in the middle, though, in terms of them against the grain players. Just there's some fractures, some triangles creating in and around their middle, just to allow players to pop their head through that space. Here's another.
There's Springer. Exactly as you say, Paul, on that inside line, just finding the gap from Addy. Now they come out to the right. There could be some space here. Hardcastle brings it back on the inside. Perhaps there was some space for Wakako on the right. But Addy has it in his hands now and just opening up a little bit.
There's that Lino again, playing his lead ball every time. They've not bothered with the back man.
And they go short side again. The kick is stabbed through. It's there to be dealt with. Romain Franco does a good job in the end. But a goal line dropout. Featherstone will be very encouraged by the last few minutes of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to point out, I think what they're trying to create, they're playing the lead ball on Lino every time. What that'll do is it'll start dragging 2-man in. Josh Griffin, who maybe feel he needs to defend a little bit tighter to him, to look after him a little bit. Then they'll play out the back. So, yeah, they're setting the traps, aren't they, early, Featherstone, and they're playing the long game.
I think what's interesting as well, if you look at this Featherstone lineup, and certainly the way the numbers are laid out in front of us, they've got Addy and Lacans in the halves, but the way that Harry Bowes is stepping into the line, it was him that put the kick in there. They're playing with very free, obvious pivots at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. You said that before the show. Both teams have got a recognised 9 playing at loose forward, so more movement, more ball play. Like you say, 3 pivots, and yeah, plenty of options there in attack. So.
Go.
So Connor Jones at the play the ball, brings it out to Addy. Addy then drops it back inside to Akins. It's read well in the end by the Wakefield defence, but just a little sign of intent there from Featherstone, bringing it back on the inside. Addy again just does it himself on this occasion. Almost gets through, he's still going, just a couple of metres short. The closest either team's been. So slow play the ball as he just makes sure he still has it. Akins brings it out. England just trying to poke his nose through now. He stops short, so this is the last. It's a sloppy pass, but the ball goes through from Lacans. And again, it's a repeat set. And Featherstone just building the pressure nicely here.
Yeah, it's a really good set from Featherstone, really patient. No panic, didn't push any passes, and ultimately in these conditions your best play is your last play, and they've nailed that one. But love to see Danny Addy running like he did there. He used all his shape. You know, he's put about 3 passes together already in that set, and then he's used his shape around him for deception, and his most important asset is his running game, and that was fantastic.
So the grubber kick is a bobbler along the floor, but dealt with in the end by Lacans. Springer off the back fence, met well though by, I think it was Liam Hood in there, a couple of his teammates, and now they come again. England's been really busy on this right hand side. He's brought down on the 20-metre line. Come out to the left, here's Addy again, bringing it up to the line. This time he passes. Brad Day brought down 15 metres away. Come out to the right. Addy drops it off to Springer, who's left the ball on the ground, so Wakefield survive. A missed opportunity for Featherstone, and for Wakefield, a bit of a slap on the back as they survive that period of pressure.
Yeah, it's good defence, isn't it? It's, and we spoke before, just the ball security and the completion, so they'll be disappointed with that. Danny Addy's running amok a little bit at the minute. Last 3 or 4 sets he's been really good, but Springer there just not been able to control the ball, and it's a bit of a let-off for Wakefield there, and they will put that under the category that's great line defence. They look solid, they look connected, so the arm wrestle continues, and no quarter given as to yet.
And that was exactly as you called it earlier. Liam Hood with the low tackle, getting him right in the ribs, causing the knock-on. As Griffin brings it out for Wakefield. We mentioned that slope will be playing a factor for teams coming out of yardage over on this right-hand side. Lino at acting half. Featherstone's line speed good at the moment. Hood brings us out to the left-hand side. Just keep it in hand. More strong defence going in. Already been some big collisions, haven't there, Rob?
It's Connor Jones, isn't it? It's the hookers on both sides.
Oh
dear.
Originally a repeat set. In the end, Fowler decides that it's enough for the penalty. Messing around at the ruck.
I think he's in the 40. I think Ben Fowler didn't realise the first instance and give the restart. But it's in the 40, so it's a full penalty now. He's just let himself down there, Connor. He's done a great contact, hasn't he, under the ball, like we said. And in fact, I would say both teams have started off really good defensively, really disciplined. And like I said, the levels have been very low, very good.
That's Jay Pitts taking that carry.
Go, it's square.
Wakefield. First time we've been looking over to our left for a while in this game. Bowden making some good meters there, and now they come to the right. Lino brings it up to the line. I think he was caught in 2 minds about whether to pass or keep it in hand. And what he did in the end was come up with an error.
Yeah, it's good inside pressure from Featherstone. They got stuck with a man on the floor. Strong carry from Bowden. He's left a bit of chaos there, hasn't he? And it was Liam Hood who took the opportunity to get on the front foot and played Lino in. He's took too long with the ball. It's great inside pressure there from Featherstone just to force the error.
Wolfev getting on with it. Immediately making some good inroads up towards the halfway line. Gale coming off his wing to make that carry. Such a big physical asset, isn't he, out on that edge? So many tries to his name in the last few seasons, of course. Featherstone, 10 metres inside the Wakefield half. Jones brings us out to the left. It's flicked back inside. Wakefield's defence not too bothered by that at the moment. Addy now. brings it up to the line and brings it out the back. Lucas drops it off to England. He's looking for a gap on that reverse line again. Dealt with by the Wakefield defence for the time being. This is the last. We come over to the left. Kick stabbed through. Now this is dangerous. Just dealt with in the end, but I think it's going to be a repeat set yet. A goal line dropout and a really clever end of set kick from Harry Bowes.
Yeah, it needed cleaning up as well, didn't it? It wasn't running out, so he's done well to deal with it. But again, a great set. 3 plays, they went back up the middle. They really spotted in and around Liam Hood there. So they've got the clear spots on the edges. Gale, Lino, they've got Hood in the middle. As just a round of applause, I think it's on the 17-minute mark.
Yeah, for Tyler Wilson, yes. Wakefield fan who recently passed away at just 17 years old. Brilliant to see supporters from both sides applauding here. Real sense of community around this. 2 teams obviously wanting to win this afternoon, but some things are bigger than rugby league, and fantastic to see both teams, just both sets of supporters.
Well, both teams paused as well, didn't they? I think the referee Ben Phil as well just allowed for that moment to pass, and that's great.
Lovely to see. Back underway. Featherstone come up with an error.
It's Liam Wood again.
Wakefield maybe just looking to stretch it here whilst they can. And there's a penalty for the Troubles as well. It was Oliver Pratt coming back on the inside, got a high shot. Then Thaler.
That's a good
rightfully,
contact.
I think.
It's a great contact to force the errors. Liam Wood again. They're gonna keep running at him. He's taking the challenge on, isn't he? And he's a strong defender. He's a strong defender. He's got a really low level and gets right in underneath that ball, which is
it's always been one of the real features of his game, hasn't it? When it was Salford, Leigh, Scotland, of course.
Well, I think we've seen one of the biggest hits was it against New Zealand at Workington for Liam Wood. I do remember that, I recall it. So he's a tremendous hit, some of the best players in the world. So it's consistent.
So Hood brings us out to the right. Lino drops it back off the inside. And again, as most of Wakefield's play has been, just keeping it up the middle in between those tram lines. Gale brings it up to the line and gives it to Ashurst. Ashurst is brought down 20 metres away from the Featherstone line. Perhaps an opportunity here. Tony Renouf dropping it off. 12 metres away as we reach the last tackle. So they come out to Lino, steps back inside, just loses balance, but does get the pass away. Jowett puts the kick in, but there's too much on it. And it'll be a 20-metre tap for Featherstone. And it's just a couple of times they've come out to the right-hand side, and Lino's almost looked caught in 2 minds. Yeah,
absolutely, and it's another 7-tackle set, so that's, again, they've let Featherstone off the hook. They've got the personnel when they get down there. I shouldn't say they look dangerous, but they've got the personnel, in people like Griffin in particular, who can break tackles, and ultimately in this sort of conditions, it's going to be a missed tackle, isn't it? Somebody who breaks a tackle that's going to break the deadlock.
20 minutes played, no points yet, but a really enthralling Betfred Challenge Cup affair here on the Sportsman. Brilliant to have you with us for this one. Edwin Springer playing the ball on the halfway line. Addy doing it himself on this occasion. So useful, isn't it, when you've got a player like him that's got that real duality about his game.
Well, he reads the game, doesn't he? He gets a feel for the game, and you know, them players are rare. You know, he's a proper footballer.
So Jones brings us back out to Addy. Addy in the end with just a flat ball. Wakefield's defence aware to it on this occasion, but Featherstone making good progress. And they keep the ball alive. Addy again. Kamano getting away. Jones brings us out to the left. Addy. He brings it out to Bowes. Good field position this for Featherstone. Definitely a try-scoring opportunity here. Jones looks to go from the base of the ruck. Rose brought down. This is the last. They've gone to that left-hand corner with their kicks so far. Will they do the same again? Yep. It's a short side play. It's bouncing around all over the place. The referee's got a little bit of working out to do, but it's going to be Wakefield ball. And again, Trinity survived some pressure on their own goal line.
Yeah, Connor Jones it was who had a snipe there from dummy half. He does that ever so well, but Wakefield were really alert to the danger. And whilst it doesn't have to look pretty defence, but they've got to work hard and find a way of defending. And Wakefield are doing that at the minute, as Featherstone seem to have a little bit of wind at the sail and getting excited here about their defence.
Yeah, Featherstone really firing up. But Lino with a kick early on in the set. Walmsley brings it in. In the end, Wakefield does really well to read the situation and bring him down. But how brave is that from Wakefield in these conditions? And then an error. Well, yeah, from the sublime to the disappointing. It was a really good kick over the top. Just as two teams familiarise themselves with each other below us. Oh, the referee's a little bit of work to do here.
Yeah.
In the middle of that, two Scotland teammates, Walmsley and Addy, just having a little cuddle. Then Thaler settles it all down. So we'll see what comes from this, but that kick over the top from Lino early on in the set, obviously a planned move. Walmsley read it brilliantly, but in the end, Wakefield done really well as well. Yeah,
like you say, it was a brave play and it looked ever so dangerous, and you know, was just probably getting ready to applaud such an audacious play, but Wakefield did fantastic to stick hold of him, didn't he? And you know, ultimately what seemed positive turns into a negative.
Let's just see what Betfred makes of this.
Red! Right, I've got it with their man running in, but then you come flying in as well, and in my opinion, with no pad, you've stuck out. You're going to be 10 as well. So we have
England in the bin as well. We'll be playing 12-a-side for 10 minutes.
Now, Red up in a scrum.
I've had a word with
and grabbing all the
both
players.
captains.
There's no need there. Right, the man's coming straight away.
There's always going to be a feistiness to this game. Two local rivals, so much on the line, of course.
So I do not need.
So far, up until that point, you've mentioned that the discipline from both teams have been pretty good, Paul.
Yeah,
just boils over for the first time there, and it's going to be a Featherstone penalty.
Yeah, I'm just listening here. I'm not sure which coach is near me, but I can hear them shouting, "Stay on the middle, stay on the middle." So I think probably got similar game plans, but you know, it might be the benches underneath. So they definitely want to keep changing direction plays and tiring out this middle. So I think it's the Featherstone bench. So I think we'll see a lot more lead balls, like I said, on Lino and against the grain plays, just to see if they can creep over. It's Danny Addy, who's his shape here. I can see a run coming.
Putting the penalty into this near side corner. So Featherstone starting off with the ball 10 metres out. It is Addy who takes it. He gives it to Kamano, who's brought down 8 metres away from the try line. Real opportunity for Featherstone here, playing 12-a-side, of course. 2 players in the sin bin after that coming together. It's a slow play, the ball. So Wakefield have their defensive line set. They go for that skinny side. Jones just trying to worm his way through. Wakefield's defence do well, though, and bring him over the line. So they'll go 10 metres back out again. So far, it is Featherstone who have had the best of the play in terms of attacking positions. No points for it so far, but could this be the set? Springer brings it in. Met really well. As Ivor Garner on the field for Wakefield, I think. Apologies, Caleb Ewell in the tackle on that occasion. Jowett does well, and he's kept himself in the field of play on last tackle. So Featherstone yet again survived some pressure on their own goal line.
Yeah, that's brilliant, isn't it, from Jowett? He's really saved his team there, having to drop out and defend another set. Although these are tough carries, aren't they?
Yeah, they look really fired up, don't they?
Yeah.
Featherstone looking to pin Wakefield in. And this is the sort of situation a few minutes before where we saw Wakefield go for that kick over the top. I'd be amazed if they did it 2 sets in a row. But you never know. Griffin just doing the hard stuff. Interesting, Josh Griffin, obviously we know him as a centre, but wearing that back row number. So obviously a little bit like your own Callum Watkins, Paul, someone who's been asked to do both.
Yeah, there's not much difference in the you know, in positionally defensive wise, I mean the decisions you have to make, but yeah, I guess as the speed goes out of his legs and he can work his way in, it's the subtleties that a centre provides. It's a great addition when you can play them, and they've got the toughness to step into the back row. But
Wellington Albert, next Leeds man, of course, on the field now for Featherstone. Sparkling white jersey. I'm sure it's not going to stay like that very long. And Zach Fishwick joining him as well. Product of Holkar. I know there's a lot of people excited about what he may bring. He makes the first carry. He's met really well. Josh Bowden making the tackle there. They're all just a little bit disjointed on that left-hand side. Featherstone keep hold of it. This is the last tackle. I think we're just going to take a moment here.
They got tangled up in each other's boots.
Yeah, so back up and running. Up goes the kick from Lacans, a real testing one, but dealt with well by Jowett in the end.
They just lost the way a bit, Featherstone, though, in that attacking set, didn't they? They didn't really ask any questions.
And a penalty for offside.
Yeah,
it just feels like they've drifted away from the game plan a little bit, doesn't it, since those 2 yellow cards?
Yeah, they lost the way, didn't they? I think, as we heard, stay up the middle, but it became a one-dimensional and one-out carries. I think what they was doing was perfectly right, playing with shape, asking a lot of questions. Yeah, they just allowed Wakefield to get back in. But as I said before, it's a tough challenge for Wakefield this half. They'll get their day in the sun, so to speak, in that second half. So this is all about weathering the storm and getting the joy back in. They're going to have to win this, take it to the 80 minutes, either team.
So Jay Pitts with the first carry. Wakefield up to the halfway line with Tom Doyle. Plays the ball, and Hood brings us out to the left. Caleb Yule onto the field. He's stopped just short of the 40-metre line. And now they come over to the short side. Gale just dropping that off, and Oliver Platt finding some space, still going in the end, brought down. But just the first sign of a little bit of space and light in that Featherstone line. The kick over the top from Lino. It's spilt, and in the end dealt with. But hearts in mouths moments.
Yeah, there's the mistake, isn't it? We said it'd be a mistake or a missed tackle, and there was the mistake. And as we said, you just feel that Wakefield will absorb this pressure, and wouldn't be surprised if they come down the other end and pull some points.
He fails to deal with it, and in the end, Connor Wynn does really well just to get his boot to it and put it into row Z.
Got to say, Oliver Pratt's had 2 involvements, and he's caused an awful lot of problems in the Featherstone defence, just coming back against the grain. Strong carries.
So there's the dropout in the end, taken pretty easily. And Wakefield with their first opportunity in what feels like a long time in this game to put some pressure on the Featherstone try line and maybe come up with the first points of the afternoon. Big defence going in. As Gale brings us over to the left, Jowett thought about the pass in the end, just keeps it in hand. Brought down 10 metres away from the line. Matty Ashurst at acting half, gives it to Gale. Gale just a short drop-off ball. Featherstone's defence deals with it well. Hood comes out to the left. Some big defence. Caleb Yule with that crash line. And Featherstone deal with it. This is the last. They come over. Oh, Hood looks to go himself. We'll just wait to see what the referee says. I think he's given the knock on.
He's knocked on. He's just dove for it, hasn't he? He's just short of the line, I think, and just lost control of the ball. But wow, what a warning shot! You could see that a mile off. Liam Wood, everybody knows it. He's been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah, he's just looking to burrow his way through. He does the hard part. Just comes down short. You can see the look on his face. Yeah. He knows.
You know he's doing it, but he's so good at it. He's such a strong competitor. So yeah, they got away with on the Featherstone.
So that's the closest either team have come so far. As we approach the half-an-hour mark. Well, I said it earlier. There's been no points so far, but a really interesting game of rugby league. I think as soon as we woke up this morning and saw the conditions and the weather forecast, we knew it perhaps wasn't going to be sideline to sideline open rugby league, but it's been a really enthralling encounter so far. Featherstone just surviving that warning shot.
Fev just need to find some shape in attack again, don't they? They've gone very, very one out, predictable to read, and making it too easy for Wakefield. Oh, here we go.
Could be through here. Yeah, Wakefield deal with it, but there's a penalty. It's Thomas Lacans who darts his way through. Got some unwanted attention. And a high shot goes in.
Yeah. Well, this
Taylor again.
This
some work to do.
Interesting. This replay will be interesting.
Just gets the better of the defence.
Here he comes. You see nothing on that replay. There's nothing on that replay.
I've got the penalty. If somebody runs in again, don't sit down. Come on. Yeah, if he runs in again, you don't need to run in.
So just the penalty. Nice shot in the end. Failer just talking to both skippers, just trying to calm this game down. You get the sense that for all the time it's this close. Tensions are always going to be pretty close to boiling point.
Yeah, it's on the knife edge. I do feel it's being played in good spirit, to be fair. I don't think there's anything in that, and I just think it's a physical game, isn't it?
So Featherstone will start 30 metres away as Jones brings us out to Lacans. Lacans just with that drop-off ball. They've used that a lot this afternoon. It's Fishwick who's brought down 18, 17 metres away from that Wakefield line. Jones out to Lacans. He brings it out to the left-hand side. Aikens coming into the line. Gale brought down over on the left. Here's Addy. Keeping it in hand again. Doesn't make a huge amount of progress, so Featherstone bring it to the right. Wellington Albert. He does make some inroads. Still going and gets the offload away, and an opportunity here. Jones fought about the pass, went himself, brought down 4 metres short. This is the last. They've favoured this left-hand side every time so far. They come over again. I think they're going to keep the ball in hand, and they're in the corner. And the referee just has a chat with his linesman, and he gives the try. And Featherstone strike first after all of that arm wrestle. Connor Wynn, I think it is, who's gone over on that left-hand side. And Featherstone Rovers strike first, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought they'd missed a chance when the offload came. Nobody reacted to Connor Jones, but as I said earlier, you see Josh Griffin, he's just getting a little bit close to Lino. I said they'd go off the back, they set the trap. Here we go, the lead's there, they've gone off the back. Griffin can't make up the ground. He's lost by getting too tight, and he's just sneaked in there, the ex-Hull man, Connor Wynn, just in that left corner for the opening score. So they probably deserved that. Featherstone, they've had a lot of territory, they've had a lot of possession, and they've dominated the first half. So I think that's a fair reflection of where we're at the minute, with Featherstone just doing a good job there. And finding the way again, because I think they've lost the way for the last 5 minutes. Became a bit one out, fell back into shape, playing off Danny Addy, playing off offloads, and get the reward really. As the wind, I can tell you now, is really picking up. I'm not quite sure which direction it's blowing in, but
all of them, I think.
Yeah. It's testing, that's what I'll say. It's testing conditions, so it's a credit to both, because we've got a pretty high quality game going on here in some horrendous conditions.
Not going to make goal kicking very easy at all.
It's not bad.
It's not a bad effort. It's a fantastic effort from Lacans. So Featherstone go into a 6-point lead, and on the balance of play, Paul, you'd say it's maybe just about an accurate reflection.
I think so. I think Wakefield look like they've got the personnel to do damage when they get down there, but they haven't been down there, have they? Again, the slope, the pitch has a part to play in that. You'll see that in the second half, but you know, they know how to do it. They know how to deal with it, and nobody more than Darryl Powell knows how to deal with it. So they'll be disappointed, Wakefield.
Wakefield get us back underway, but I thought interesting. They've done it a couple of times as that ball hits the ground, in the end dealt with. But they've interchanged Gareth Gale and Connor Wing in that centre wing position a couple of times, just changing the point of attack, and almost a bit of deception, bringing Gale onto the inside and win the man in loads of space.
Absolutely,
outside.
He's a big body, isn't he, Gareth Gale? So, you know, with him there and the back row is Day running on and around Lino, you know, you want help, don't you? You want to look after your pivots a little bit. So, again, it's the deception. And you know, he's paid dividends, and like I said before, they're willing to play the long game, and they're going to have to do today.
For Wellington Albert, 6. 3 Wakefield defenders in the tackle to bring him down. Jones to Addy. Met well. Okay, Leviol. This is the last. So kicking from inside their own half. Cans puts the ball up in the air. Going to be Jowett that's underneath it. Takes it well and then drops it off to Lachlan Walmsley, trying to find some space, but loses his footing. Jowett bringing us up over the 20-metre line.
Go.
Well, I think one of the fans have just nailed it. You just heard a big shout of discipline to Featherstone, and I think they're absolutely spot on. Wakefield will be trying to win a penalty now to get some territory, get down, play the ball quick, change the direction.
Liam Hood just stepping in and out, trying to find some space. We're back up to 13 aside. 2 Simbins. Expired as Josh Griffin brings us up to the 40-metre line. Get the leg driving. This is the last, so Wakefield kicking from the 40. Lino just stabs a kind of missile over the top. It's turned them round.
It's a great kick. That's a fantastic set from Wakefield. It's a great kick from Mason Lino on the back of it. Again, conservative. They don't need to do anything fancy. Just need to work hard and get territory. Force an error.
Waka Coke plays the ball on the 12-metre line.
Matty, hold this 10. Let it begin. Go.
Featherstone deep in their own half, but having made that first inroad of the game, that first try of the game, you think that they'll be very happy to just get themselves back inside the sheds at this stage with that 6-point lead intact. Some good meters made over on that left-hand side. Gale again coming in off his wing. Strong carry from Brad Day, I think it is, over on that far side. Getting his team over halfway. This is the last, but Featherstone won't be too displeased with where the kick's going to come from, although it's a sloppy ball. Gale doing his best with it. Stabs a kick over the top. Jowett deals with it. And Wakefield will start on their own 20-metre line. It wasn't the most aesthetic end to a set ball, but not the worst. And then there's an error from Franco. Featherstone have the ball back 17, 18 metres away, and a real opportunity here to strike again before half-time.
There's the blueprint, isn't it? Whatever you can do, we can do better. The return serve, don't they? With hard carries, a good kick, albeit ugly.
Aikens brings us out to the side. Waka Coke some space. Dealt with in the end. Oliver Pratt just getting across. But a real opportunity as Lacans brings it back into Fishwick. Almost punches his way through the line, but brought down 5 or 6 metres short. Jones brings us out to the left to Addy. Addy just dropping it off to Wellington Albert. Just a little bit disjointed and slow on that play, but he gets the offload away again. It's the second time he's caused some problems with that. An opportunity here. Day getting the offload away. Wing could be in the corner again, and Featherstone get a second. The offload causing chaos, and Connor Wynn, for the second time in this game, finds himself in space, steps back inside, and after a really attritional opening half an hour, Featherstone 10, Wakefield 0.
Well, it's Wellington Albert again, is it, with the offload.
There's the error.
Again, return serve, kick. The kick was ugly, but I said before, didn't I, force the errors, and there they got the reward. Albert again with the offload. Connor Jones this time they are alert to it and proactive, and they're on the front foot. They react to Connor Jones, who just services his edge there, and it's Connor Wynn again, who had a little bit to do, didn't he? He stepped in off that left foot and beat a challenge to just come in, improve the angle slightly, but most importantly got the 4 points. So big 10 minutes for Featherstone, and 10 points in front with what's a terribly difficult kick, but we said that last time and he nailed it, didn't he? So I think we've found out which way the wind's blowing, whichever direction he's kicking this ball from.
Well, almost exactly the same position that Lacans nailed that kick from before. An opportunity to do it again. If you roll the clock back just 5 minutes, if you'd have offered either team a 10-point lead at half-time, they'd have bitten your hand off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Featherstone finishing this half really strong. It'll definitely change what Darryl Powell has to say to his players at the break. It's another good-looking kick. Doesn't quite have the legs on this occasion. The line was right.
I like how the fans all shout, yeah, yes, try and con the linesmen there, but they weren't having none of it. So it's 10 points, isn't it? They're going to go in 10 points in front at half time. It's not insurmountable. Again, not to harp on about it, but it's a fair old slope here, and we'll see a difference. They've got a challenge on their own now, Featherstone, to hold on to this lead and hopefully pull some more points from their point of view. But Wakefield won't be too disappointed just yet.
Akins does well on that occasion. There was an absolute explosion of noise from underneath us on this gantry and around us from the Featherstone fans as we went over there, and you just get the sense, there's a real feeling that every point is going to be so crucial this afternoon. Featherstone, he came into this game as underdogs, rebuilding was the words that James Ford used. Plenty of reason for encouragement in the first 40 minutes of this game as Jones looks to get himself away. Now they bring it out to the right, and LeCans will just put a kick in, looking to turn Walmsley around. It's a good kick, it's going to find touch.
40-20, is it not?
They're asking the question. Ben Faylor's shaking his head. And there's the hooter anyway. So an enthralling first 40 minutes of rugby league. But Featherstone finishing the first half with a flourish. 2 tries from Connor Wynne. And they go into the break 10 points to the good up. And I'll tell you what, Paul, talk about them not taking chances at times and then clinical in that last 10 minutes.
Absolutely. I think Danny Addy's led this ship around today. I think Danny Addy's leading the way for Featherstone. And like I said before, they hit a little bit of a spell there where they became reactionary, became one out. The sin bin didn't help them, and then they switched back on, didn't they? Started applying shape, a little bit of structure, and playing on the front foot off the back of Connor Jones there. So and got the rewards in the end.
Both tries really coming from Wakefield errors. This is the incident that led to 2 players in the sin bin.
Yeah, I think
first time it kind of boiled up all game, but
I think Ben Taylor's done a good job there because he knows what's at stake here, and I think sitting 2 people down early just sends a message to the rest of the team that both teams that he's in control. We want a good game here. We don't need any of that nonsense. So I think he's put his marker down early there, Ben Taylor, and I don't think he's done any harm at all.
Liam Hood just coming into short. Moments before this happened, a real turning point in the game, you sense.
Yeah.
Akins bringing the ball into the line, and Connor Wynne stuck to that left edge with Gale moving out into the line.
It's well worked, isn't it? They've just created the space on the overlap, and like you say, Connor Wynne just squeezing in that corner. But that's come from all the work they've done earlier in the game.
Both of them coming from really good offloads from Wellington Albert. And then this one, that's another really good offload as well, I think, from Day.
Yeah, I was just
and then Connor Wynne stepping back inside.
Yeah, he's done good there, Brad Day. He's had a real lot of composure about him in this game, in this first half, and none more so than that. Just to squeeze that ball out there, he's recognised, he's recognised that even if it goes to floor, there's an opportunity to pick up and get into the corner.
So there we have it, 40 minutes gone in this Betfred Challenge Cup 5th round tie. Plenty of rugby league to come, of course, but at the break, Featherstone Rovers lead 10 points to 0. 2 tries from Connor Wynne in a game that had been on a knife edge for so long. Featherstone striking twice just before the break to take that lead in. All to play for here. Featherstone with the lead at the break. Stay with us. Second half action from this Betfred Challenge Cup tie. New era at Wakefield Trinity, but they've got it all to do this afternoon. And then before then, first episode of our Hometown Heroes series, a little taste of it there. You can watch that in full after this game right here on that YouTube channel, of course, with Ryan Briley, a man you know very well, of course, Paul. But turning our attentions back to the action here, half-time, and a scoreline that I don't think too many people would have predicted before this game. Featherstone Rovers 10, Wakefield 0. And it feels like quite a significant 10-0 given the game that we've seen so far.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And, it reminds me of when Featherstone beat Lee in the first league fixture a couple of years ago, wasn't it? Just before, obviously, Lee ran out winners of the championship. They do enjoy they do enjoy playing in these conditions, Featherstone, don't they? They thrive, and they've got some, like I said before, they've got some fantastic rugby players, in particular being led by Danny Addy, who know how to negotiate these conditions, and they've been here before, haven't they? They've done it all before, lots of experience, and 10-0 scoreline is not insurmountable for Wakefield down this hill. I've got to keep stressing that, because I just feel there's a lot more to come in this game just yet.
Plenty of twists and turns on the way, I'm sure. Betfred Challenge Cup always finds a way of producing the goods. Got a really exciting 40 minutes on the way. Absolute pleasure to have you with us as ever. We'll be bringing you live rugby league throughout the season here on The Sportsman. Don't forget, we've got the Last Tackle as well every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and loads more on the way, so hit that subscribe button. Stay with us throughout the season. Big 40 minutes on the way. The prize, very, very clear for these two teams. A slot in the 6th round of the Cup. Those Betfred Super League clubs come into the equation. Wembley just starting to loom ever larger on the horizon. And of course, for these two teams as well, probably worth saying, Championship season, Paul, hasn't started yet, but this is as competitive a game as you could imagine, just a couple of weeks out from the start.
Yeah, it's a great way to start, isn't it, for them? And I guess both clubs would, what gives them a good yardstick and what they're going to face in the coming weeks. So again, they're fighting for their lives now to survive and kick on into this Challenge Cup next round. But there's a bigger picture ahead for both clubs, as a long championship season awaits, with a fantastic prize at the end of it if they was to win the big prize and get up into Super League.
Yeah, I really like the way that they've structured the start of this season for the Betfred Championship and Betfred League One clubs. Speaking to a lot of coaches before the start, they feel the same as well. The 1895 group stages, the quarterfinals, of course, in there, and then these early Betfred Challenge Cup rounds as well. A real competitive run-in before that championship season starts in a couple of weeks' time. But it is all about the Betfred Challenge Cup at the moment. Fans in good spirits here. They're just dancing to keep themselves warm, perhaps. I've spent all week, Paul, thinking that we were going to have our first taste of summer rugby today, looking at the weather forecast, and we've got this.
Yeah, we're stood about 25 foot in the area at Featherstone with the light westerly breeze, one might say, but we're marching, keeping the toes warm at the minute, but the dirty shirts are back out as we speak, led by Danny Addy. Yeah,
no change of shirts. They don't do that at this level. Danny Addy leading them out. Wakefield following behind, and you get the impression that if Wakefield can start quickly and just get themselves on top, then they have got the quality to turn this game around. But as we saw in that first half, taking your chances is going to be the key on a day like this.
Yeah, well, Wakefield will be hoping to roll Featherstone now and build some pressure. And I think Caleb Akins is going to be a busy man. He's going to have to field a few aerial bombardment from Leno and Gale in particular.
Josh Griffin there, and then another former winner of this competition out there. You need all that experience to turn this around for Wakefield in the next 40 minutes.
Guys, you got me.
As we get back underway. So Featherstone with that 10-point lead to defend. Wakefield looking to just chip away with it and get themselves back on top in this affair, or on top. Of course, that nil next to their name will be a concern for Darryl Powell, a real source of pride so far, you'd imagine, for James Ford and his team. And in a way, Paul, I'm going to massively oversimplify things here, but it is quite a simple game at this point for Featherstone, isn't it? Just don't make any errors, keep things tight.
Simple to say, not simple to do, though. Don't make errors, but you've got an awful lot of mud, wind and rain coming at you in your face, and you're also running up an hill, and there's also a load of blokes ready to belt you. So it's simple to say, but not simple to do. And Featherstone and Wakefield are going to have a big say in this outcome.
That's why I'm stood up here and not down there. And Albert comes up with the error. First one. He made a couple of really good offloads in the build-up to those two tries.
He's looked heavy though, I think, in his carries. You know, Springer were on. I thought he were really forceful in his carries. I don't think Wellington's had the same impact. He did some, like you say, a couple of good offloads, but his carries have not been at the same force that Springer was previous to him.
Yeah, the benches are going to be so important throughout the second half. Harvey Smith onto the field for Wakefield, and it's him that plays the ball from the base of the scrum. Lino drops it off to Griffin. Griffin just loses his footing a little bit, can't make a huge amount of progress. Smith brings it out to the left to Yule.
Solid contact.
But Liam Hood just taking a rest for the start of the second half. Tony Renouf with the carry there. Brought down 25 metres or so short. Lino brings it up to the line, little show and go. Now it comes outside to Jowett. Griffin brings it back on the inside where he's brought down. Probably about 16 metres away from that Featherstone try line. Jowett at acting half. Brings it out to Lino. Lino into Yule. Just spinning away from a couple of tackles and making some progress. Brought down on the 10. This is the last. Bang central, so options left and right. They come out to Gale, who just stabs a kick through, and it could be in here. It just dealt with in the end.
Well, that's building pressure.
Yeah, he just puts it out for the goal line dropout, but early intention shown from Wakefield.
Yeah, and there's the kicking game, isn't it, from Luke Gale now? So this is the start of the pressure building. So Featherstone, well, you kind of get the feel. I know it's only like 2 sets in, but it's going to be very much like we'll continue to look into our right like we did in the first half, and Featherstone are going to have to test their resilience.
Oh, but there's an error from Yule. It looks like a laboured carry, and the shot came in right in the breadbasket, and ball coughed up. And Featherstone will be very happy with that.
Well, this is the one thing that Darryl Powell doesn't want his side to do, keep coughing up the ball, because you can see it visibly lifts Featherstone and provides them with a lot of energy. You saw the Featherstone players there, they celebrated that like they'd scored a try, and it's just psychologically gives them energy, because they're going to need some this half. They're going to need some.
Well, it was Connor Jones who made the shot that popped the ball loose. And I thought he was really impressive actually in that first 40.
Yeah,
especially in the build-up to the second try.
Well, he's had some important involvement as he's bent his back a couple of times in defence now, forced a couple of errors, and then, like you say, he's had involvement in, well, one try and one near miss as well, so which could have been. So they're reacting to him now. He's a front foot player, Connor Jones. He's very quick.
Featherstone with the ball just inside their own half. Addy brings it up to the line. Keeps it in hand. Makes it over the halfway line where he's brought down. They bring the ball out to the left-hand side. Brad Day bringing it back in. Making it up to the 40. Really good offload from him in the build-up to that second try. As Fishwick makes the carry. Met well by 3 Wakefield defenders. That's the last. So Featherstone, pretty central again. They'll come out to the right-hand side where LeCans will put a towering kick up. Walmsley and Jowett just deciding who's going to take it. In the end, it's Walmsley. Just running backwards, but takes it well on the 10-metre line. Wakefield having to bring it out from deep inside their own real estate. In front of that travelling band, the supporters behind them who've come in good numbers, but looking to see some improvement from their side after that first 40.
Move, Wellington! Brad!
Featherstone's defence just doing a reasonable job here early on in this set of keeping things just pegged back as Ashurst carries over the line.
Wait, boys!
Plays the ball. Harvey Smith just shooting out from dummy half and making some good metres up the middle. Lino will play it to Gale. Gale stabs a kick through. Just splits the fullback and the winger, and it's Wakakoke who's going to gather it just a few metres inside from his own dead ball line. Good kick pressure actually from Wakefield to get down and look to pin him in. And this feels like a big set, not one where Feather going to want to make an error at all. They've done a reasonable job early on of getting out from under the shadow of their own post.
Yeah, well again, it's great game management from Luke Gale. He's put a fantastic kick in, split the winger and the fullback, but more importantly, he's chased his own kick and made the tackle.
Well, there's Gadwin Springer, you just spoke about him, back on the field, immediately making a good carry, finding his front and getting a quick play the ball. An opportunity perhaps here at Tony Renouf in the end, just doing enough to drag Harry Bowes down. McCann will put the kick in from just inside his own half. Jowett just lost his footing a little bit, but in the end the ball is more towards Romain Franco anyway. Good kick chase.
It's a great set from Featherstone. Great set. They've got, like you say, from Gadwin Springer, strong carry. But Wakefield will be disappointed. Not got the ruck control that they need there, and there's no really. They're not having to defend wide. They can jam up and get numbers in the tackle, as you see Featherstone are doing. They've got a real good ruck control. They did the last set, and they seem to be doing the same thing now. Apply numbers.
And there's just a little bit of disjointedness, perhaps, from Wakefield. But as I say that, they get themselves a penalty.
Is this Vergana who's just come?
Yeah, Isaiah Vergana onto the field for the first time.
Big human being.
Yeah, big unit. He's going to add some real go forward, you would think, this Wakefield side. And for his dad, Joe, of course. Bradford.
Tried to tackle his dad many a time.
Joe Pitts, big carry from the Wakefield loose forward. Met well by the Featherstone defence, but some good meters made. Griffin from Acton Hark gives it to Lino, and here is Isaiah Vergana for the first time. Immediately spinning out of some contact, getting to his front, and it's a quick play the ball, so instant impact from Vergana, and an opportunity for Wakefield here. Gale to Lino, there's space, if they can make it out to the left-hand side, I think they've got in. Instant impact from Isaiah Vergana, and Wakefield find themselves on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what a strong carry. What a strong carry from Vergana. He's ridden a challenge. He's rolled out of it. He's won the ruck. And we just spoke about the speed of the ruck. And, you know, the first quick play of the ball, well, they've shipped it out wide. Luke Gale squared up nicely. Lino's paired up with him and Jowett. The full spine. And it was that guy Pratt. We mentioned him in the first half. I think that's the third time he's touched the ball. He's made 2 strong carries in the first half and scored with his first touch in the second. So a great part to play in this game as Pratt, but all the spine working well together, taking advantage of, like I said before, unbelievable carry from Vergana. What a first involvement for him.
Probably the first kind of sign of genuine quality on the ball that we've seen from Wakefield, and we said they're going to have to make chances count in the second half if they're going to get themselves back into this game. They've done exactly that. This is a difficult kick. I think it's Max Jowett on kicking duties for Wakefield. Interesting, with Luke Gale in the side, but I think it is going to be Jowett. We saw Lacans nail one from a very similar spot for Featherstone in the first half. All these extra twos are going to be crucially important, you feel, in this game. It looks okay, and just to the left-hand side of the sticks. Wasn't far away. Not an easy day for kickers at all. But, I mean, you've got a pretty good one in your side, Paul. You'll know the value of it.
Yeah, he's not doing bad, is he? He's not doing bad, Mark Sneed. He's been crucial for us now, hasn't he? 4 or 5 games. So, like you said, the value of a kicker, certainly in these early parts of the season, when tries are difficult to come by, you want to turn your 4s into 6.
Well, that try sets the last half an hour of this game up beautifully. Do not turn this off. Featherstone 10, Wakefield 4. Betfred Challenge Cup, 5th round. And you could feel the lift in energy from those Wakefield fans to our left as their side came back, as Vergana again. They're really struggling to deal with him in those early carries that he's made since coming off the bench. Lino brings it up to the line, drops it back off to Griffin. Griffin met well. Springer and Day. Bowes in there as well. Harvey Smith just looked to the right, but in the end decides to come left.
5 movement.
Tom Doyle in the end brought down. And they do come over to the right-hand side this time. Lino puts a tall kick up in the air. Rakins to deal with. Romain Franco lost his footing, which caused a little bit of chaos for both teams there, but Featherstone have dealt with it. Deep inside their own half, though, coming off their own line. Gale met by Smith. And Franco in there as well. And Vagana. Big set in this game, you feel. Wakefield looking to keep Featherstone pinned in their own half. But a penalty, just a bit too keen, Wakefield. A real pressure reliever for Featherstone.
Well, they were calling for it, weren't they, the fans, and they needed it. The Featherstone team needed it, and the fans came answering, and just a little bit too eager.
This is coming up to us, ball.
Wakefield. It's disappointing from a Wakefield point of view. That's the one thing that'll just keep energising this Featherstone side and letting them out of trouble.
It's a day with the carry up over halfway, but he spilt it. It's just getting a little bit scrappy, isn't it? Just as the tension goes up a notch with Wakefield getting themselves on the score sheet, you can just feel a little bit of nerves in the air.
Yeah, it's Smith, isn't it, with the
good shot, isn't it?
Shoulder contacts as well. All the hookers, the little men have done really well with the contact in defence. But I think he's been really lively, Smith, since he's come on in this second half. He's really sharpened Wakefield up.
Yeah, 2 interchanges at half time. Vagana coming in. Harvey Smith as well for Wakefield. Both of them have made an impact. Darryl Powell just keeping his cards close to his chest in the first half, but I'll be really pleased with the impact his interchanges have made so far. So Lino will feed the scrum just inside the Wakefield half, and Smith will play the ball from the base. Taken in by Oliver Pratt, the try scorer, just over halfway. A real let-off for Wakefield after conceding that penalty. Immediately getting an opportunity from the error to re-establish themselves at the end of the field that they want to be. As Ewell brings it up to the 40-metre line. Met by 3 Featherstone defenders. Still makes some decent metres. They come out to the left to Gale. Gale brings it up to the line. A little drop-off ball, but Featherstone's defence wise to it. Smith brings us out to the right to Doyle. Doyle now to Ewell. He just pokes his nose through the line. This is the last. So they come over. Oh, no, they don't. Smith goes one way, then comes the other, stabs a little kick through, and in the end, I think it's Brad Day with the goalkeeper skills to reel that ball in, and he's done well for his team there. Gale. Brought down by Harvey Smith, 11 metres away from his own line. We're kind of back into that arm wrestle, aren't we, Paul?
Yeah, they're looking for another penalty, aren't they? It was Smith trying to find Gale for that last play there, just couldn't see him. I think Jowett was just in his way. Just to try to drill the ball through, but like I said, Brad Day with the goalkeeping skills, trap and scrap they call it, just find a way of surviving in these conditions, and there it is again. It's that Springer carry, isn't it, who's really had an impact for Featherstone.
They're bringing his team up to the 40. This is the last. So the kick comes in over the top. Jowett takes it on the full. Brings it back with interest. He's got Worms on the outside him. Has he got an opportunity to just spread his leg, stretch his legs? He's just brought down short. Oliver Pratt, who's looked good with his involvements in this game, obviously scoring a try. Getting side back into it as Vagana brings it over the 40-metre line. Another good carry from him.
Come on, Deadway!
Harvey Smith brings it to the right. Lino, little show and go. Jowett brings it up over the 30, but met really well by the Featherstone defence.
You've got to get a marker. Forward there.
Bowes in there. Here's Lino. He brings it out to Tom Doyle, who's stopped on the 30-metre line. This is the last, dead central. They'll come to the left. Gale will put the kick up in the air for Wacko Coke to deal with, which he does. But he could be forced back over his line here. I think he's going to be. Brilliant kick chase from Wakefield. The goal line dropout and a repeat set from nothing, really.
Yeah, he's just been schooled, hasn't he? Luke Gale, though. It's a really composed kick into that danger zone, and he's got to find a floor there. There was even a pass he could have passed to. What's Luke Gale, again, not for the first time, chased his own kick, and and that's the difference, isn't it? So that's a huge play from Luke Gale. Real game management there.
So the dropout comes over towards Jay Pitch, just a little bit of football skills to control it, but does eventually bring it in. And a really good platform for Wakefield to work with. Franco at acting half. He gives it to Lino. Lino gives it to Vagana. Springer in. Wonder if the message on will just be for Gadwin Springer to almost man-mark Vagana with the impact that he's made early on. Smith out to Gale. Gale drops it back off to Yule. And a penalty for a shoulder charge. So more defending for Featherstone to do. Another opportunity for Wakefield.
Does he take the 2? There's the question.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what they do. You would think it would be a fairly routine 2 points. They're going to keep it going. So Tom Doyle makes the carry up to the 10-metre line. I've said it a few times, a big set this, Paul, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very.
Smith brings it to Gale coming around the side of the ruck. Lino was hit.
It's come off.
Well, it's come off a Featherstone hand to begin with and then knocked on by Gareth Gale. So somewhere in that, it's going to come back as Wakefield ball. Line speed was good from Featherstone, but yeah, just a stray hand in the tackle, knocking that ball on.
Yeah, it's very difficult to set up for a play in a shape like that when your rucks are so slow as well. It's easy to read for the defence, and the transactions are slow. It's clumsy because of the wet ball, the muddy ball. So he always favours the defence on them slow rucks. So I just think they need to keep doing what they've been doing, which is changing against the grain and just strength of carry, which has been good from Wakefield in his second half. In particular,
come over to the left-hand side. Oliver Pratt met well, 20 metres out, dead central. Smith again shapes to go one way that comes the other. Tom Doyle met with interest by the Featherstone defensive line. Smith brings us out to the right. It's Gale again, just looping round. Drops it off to Pitts. Cries of forward pass from the Featherstone fans. Nothing given. It's a few times now Smith's done that shape to go one way and gone the other, but it could come off here. Romain Franco in the corner. Wakefield have their second. And in the end, it looked really simple. Just through the hands, out to the right-hand side, and Franco in an acre of space.
Yeah, and, well, right decision, wasn't it, then, not to take the 2 points. Scored in the corner, so it's now 10-8 with a kick to come. I think Wakefield have seriously got Featherstone got the numbers wrong defensively, though. It's Smith again from dummy half, showed left, went right. And, Featherstone have just got drawn in there. He's man on man. And I'm not sure who it was. You can't see the numbers on their backs now. But they've really come in and totally got it wrong defensively, Featherstone, from what looked not a dangerous attacking position from Wakefield.
And Harvey Smith, I mentioned it a few plays before, from the base of the ruck a few times, he's gone with that misdirection play. Hard to tell on that occasion if it was kind of premeditated or if he just got a shout about the numbers over on his right, but as you say, a mismatch and a really good pass from Jowett.
Well, I think the fact that he's quick out of dummy half, it just puts people on the heels, doesn't it? And he's showed left, whether he's got it right or got it wrong, you know, he's seen that it's shut left and the opportunity is right. And whilst it doesn't look overly pretty at that moment, the fact that he's a quick man out of dummy half, it just makes the defence sit and hold. And that split second just allows that time and space for them to create the overlap and to allow Featherstone to actually make a defensive mistake and got the read totally wrong.
So Jowett,
the centre's coming way too tight.
Max Jowett with an opportunity from the sideline to lock things up. Just feel like the wind has dropped a little bit, but still won't be an easy kick. And he's just pushed it to the right-hand side of the sticks. So Featherstone stay in the lead. It's a 2-point ball game. And I tell you what, those Wakefield fans to our left are into this one now. A lot of noise coming from over there.
They need to be better, don't they, Featherstone? They won't survive for 20 minutes without asking some questions themselves. If you look at the contrast for the first half, Wakefield did get up into Featherstone's, albeit quite seldom, but they did get up there and they did ask a few questions. Featherstone, I don't remember actually looking left in this second half for the whole of the 20 minutes. It's been a totally dominant second half from Wakefield.
Well, 20 minutes left to play. Yule makes a big carry. Talking about tension, this game has gone up a notch again Vergana met well by Springer.
Move back here.
Did you just say the wind had dropped?
Yeah, this is my fault. Some good post-contact meters again.
Very physical, strong carries from Wakefield. Vergana's been a real changing point, hasn't he?
Yeah. And they come up to the line. Griffin brought down just short of halfway. I think Lino's looked really lively, hasn't he? Him and Gale kind of changing direction around the rucks a few times in the second half. A very different performance from what we saw in the first half. And Harvey Smith brings us out to the right, and Lino puts a really tall kick up in the air for Akins to deal with, which he doesn't. It's spilt. Griffin picks it up. There could be an opportunity straight away here. Comes over the top to Jowett. There's a forward pass.
Back to the first.
So I think we're going to come back to the knock-on.
Well, I called it, didn't I? I said that Akins going to get some aerial bombardment in this second half. I called it, and there it is. And he's been known to come up with some mistakes like that as Caleb Akin previously on this ground, but not in Featherstone colours. So. Yeah, he's come up with a clanger there. He's put him in good field position. You just pointed out regarding Gale and Lino. Well, wasn't their game, was it, in the first half? It wasn't their game at all. Like I said, they just had to be patient. And what you're seeing now is some game management and some real good experienced half-back play from the pair of them.
Well, the whole feel of this game has changed as Lino feeds the scrum. They've got 3 men either side of it. They come to the left. Nearly poking his nose through for another, but Featherstone stand firm for now. Just feels like they need to withstand this. It feels like they're clinging on a bit, Featherstone. If they can withstand it, they'll still be banging this game, still leading, of course. But it's been all Wakefield in the second half, and there's the offload. Harvey Smith dropping it back on the inside. Options left and right. Brings it out to the left to Gale. Gale with a cut-out pass. Pratt met well.
Penalty.
Met too well. And the penalty. And you feel like if this was maybe 10 metres further infield, they would take the 2 here, Wakefield, to just level the scoreboard up, but I'm not sure if they'll go for it. Kicking tee's coming on. A lot of Wakefield players with 2 up in the air, so I think they are going to go for it here.
That's Brad England, isn't it? Just crossing the line, just getting a little bit, well, losing his composure, really. They've got to be disciplined, and I guess the discipline side in all aspects, ball control, but in terms of foul play as well, will come out on top.
This is interesting. Mason Lino taking over the kicking duties from Max Jowett.
Well, there's accomplished goal kicker, isn't he, Mason Lino? He used to always to kick for Featherstone.
Well, they've got a few in that side. Really interesting decision to take the 2. It's not far from being a given, this kick. It would, of course, lock the scoreboard up at 10-all.
Well, you know, the worst case scenario is they've got to drop out in the face of a wind and withstand more pressure. There's no bad outcomes here.
And he's got it. So we are locked up at 10 points each. 15 minutes left in this game. We thought this was going to be a cracker. It's delivered. Betfred Challenge Cup 5th round tie going down to the wire. My word, Paul, have we got a ball game?
Yeah, well, we said they've got to be willing to take it to the 80 minutes, and it was always going to be that way because of all the elements, the conditions, what it means to both these clubs. You know, the city of Wakefield, the town of Featherstone. Yeah, it's a massive game, and you know it's not letting us down, is it? But like I said before, Featherstone needs some field position. They need to ask some questions themselves. They won't hold on for 15 minutes and survive this onslaught that has been one way all this second half up to now.
So Akins gets us back underway. Gale fields it and drops it off to Vergana, running off the back fence, and a penalty. And the tide is completely turned at this point. Everything seems to be going in Wakefield's favour.
Well, they're not handling the strength of Carey, are they? I think in particular since Vergana's come back on, or since Vergana's entered this game.
Oh, he's changed it. He's had a massive impact, hasn't he, since he came on?
They're just not handling Wakefield's strength of carry. They play really direct. He played on the back of a good kicking. All the things we spoke about at the beginning of the programme. But like I said before, the elements, the slope, all them things contribute to what was a difficult first half, but this is totally different.
So Wakefield up to halfway. Ashurst takes the first carry of this set. 10-all here in Post Office Road, the Millennium Stadium, Featherstone. Place in the 6th round of the Betfred Challenge Cup on the line. And it is on a knife edge, but it is Wakefield on top at the moment as Lino brings it out to the right-hand side. Gale up to the line. Jowett leaves it on the floor. And there could be a break on here. It's Day who swept it up. Didn't quite have the pace to get away with it. And then Gale brings it up to halfway for Featherstone. And the pendulum swings again.
This is a huge set for Feather, isn't it? They've got to get some inroads now and ask a question and finish with a real positive kick. Try and build some pressure. Try and spend some time down at this end of the field.
Well, we've not looked to our left at all, really, in this second half. The first time we've seen Featherstone in possession in anything resembling good ball. Lino flying up to make the tackle on the cans.
Wakefield have got a big squeaky clean now because they've got Featherstone fans are going to call for everything, aren't they?
Going to put it to you, Paul.
Yep.
From a coaching perspective, how early do you start thinking about the drop goal?
Well, good luck kicking a drop goal on this pitch at the minute. So, yeah, I'm nowhere near drop goal territory if I'm coaching.
Well, Addy stabs the kick through. Just a little bit too much on it. A few too many rotations. It's a nice idea, just turning Wakefield around, but too much juice on it. Trinity survive.
It's a poor kick from Danny Addy. Yeah, he's got to take a leaf out of what Wakey have been doing. Just put it in that corner there, mate. Come out of the corner, build some pressure.
So Franco, scorer of that second try, taking it in. Golden point. Possibility, of course, but the ball's gone to ground. Featherstone have it back. Just as Wakefield had control of this game, a couple of errors, and they've given some momentum back. Yeah, well, it's a Springer now with the carry.
They've got the moments, haven't they? Wakefield are giving them the moments. They've just got to take advantage of them. There's the knock on.
There's the error.
It was Josh Borden, wasn't it, who's just come up with a loose carry.
Gale coming back in off his wing. Brought down 20 metres away. Addy bringing it up to the line. Met by Tony Renouf. Now, they are going for the drop goal. And exactly as you said, not stuck in the mud.
He's touched away.
Touched on the way through.
They've got away with it. But there's a long time left. There's 12 minutes left in the game. I'm not sure why they do that. What tackle was that? Was it tackle?
Kanzi went for it, and it did just take a deflection on the way through. I'm not sure it ever had the legs to get over, but they have earned themselves a repeat set out of it. So another opportunity for Featherstone. That's a mammoth of a dropout. In the end, Wakakoke's there to bring the ball back. Very obvious which way the wind is blowing in when you look at that kick. Featherstone on the attack, but there's an error. Wakakoke coming up with an error at the play of the ball. And Wakefield will get possession back about 15 metres inside their own half.
Well, if they don't win this game, then I think they'll look back on these two sets. They've got a last play there off Danny Addy that he'll be disappointed with. And then a drop goal attempt. Yeah, drop goal attempt for me is just way too early, not the right play. And I was never comfortable the way he was carrying the ball all throughout that passage of play there.
Garner with another carry. Really enjoying that individual battle between him and Gadwin Springer in the second half. Really singling each other out. Two big men throwing their weight around in the middle. That's Tony Renouf, just shrugging a few people off, getting his team on the front foot. Josh Bowden taking it in up to the 40-metre line. Now they're bringing it out to the left, and Gale will just stab a kick in.
He's gone early.
For Lachlan Walmsley to chase. It's going to dribble into touch. But Wakefield won't mind that too much, just an opportunity to get the ball at the other end of the field, and they'll feel if they can put a good defensive set in here, they can get back on top.
Yeah, I think they'd have preferred it to stay in. If I'm being honest, just turn Featherstone round there, but like you say, it's not a bad start to... not a bad place to start your set, is it? It's a controlled restart. All Wakefield is just lined up, primed, ready to go, and they'll be able to force an error now.
Probably just taking a gamble there on the ball sticking in the mud a little bit, which it didn't. So Featherstone with possession on their own 20-metre line, looking to bring it out. Gale met well.
They need a penalty, don't they? They need some strength to carry. They need to win a ruck, win a penalty.
You can just look at those Wakefield defenders, almost asking the ref when it's safe to peel away, stealing every millisecond they can, trying to slow this game down. Springer plays the ball. Addy just puts it up the jumper, keeps it up the middle. Stopped just short of the 40-metre line. They've made some decent metres on this set. Featherstone, as they bring it out to the left, Brad Day met by Lino, and there's the penalty. It was a high shot from Lino. And another potentially key moment.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see that. Oh, here we go.
Well, they've tapped and gone for it.
Do you know, I'm not sure there's much in the Lino tackle, if I'm being honest. I think it's a tough call, that, but game on.
Well, there is going to be one big moment that decides this cup tie, you feel. I wouldn't like to say who's going to come up with it, but it is coming down to the wire as Springer plays the ball 25 metres out. Addy brings it out the back. Now they look to come to the left-hand side. The referee's going to call it back.
Well, I think there's been a few, so I'm not sure why you picked that out of all. It's from the dummy half to Danny Addy.
It's nervy, isn't it? It's tense.
Really kicking themselves out. Featherstone, that's 3 times in the whole half they've been down this half and come up with some 3 really bad errors.
Yeah, whoever loses this game are going to get back in the sheds and feel like they had the opportunity to win it, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Fascinating viewing. Brilliant to have you with us here on the Sports and Rugby League for this cup tie. We knew the moment it came out of the bag in the draw that this was going to be a good one. And it's delivered so far. 7 or so minutes left. Probably is worth pointing out at this time that clock on your screen is just a guide. It's not hooked up to the official timekeeper's clock, so I'm not entirely sure to the exact second how long we've got. But the seconds are ticking away for both teams to try and find a winner. Golden point, of course, a possibility on the horizon as Gales met well, but just gets away from a few tackles and then finds some space, brings the ball out to the right. That was a bit of a risky pass. Josh Griffin probably not going to thank him for that one later, but just settles it down. This is the last, so Griffin will play it just short of the halfway line, and Lino will put a kick in. And it's a tricky one, it's bouncing all over the place. In the end, Featherstone come up with it, but no one wanted that.
Well, Springer's coming off out. What impact will that have on the game? He's been so influential, but yeah, you're struggling even to see the ball then when it went up in the air. Wakefield have just injected a little bit of energy into the defence now. There's some tough carries here for Featherstone.
He looked tired as he jogged off below us there, Gadwin Springer. You get the impression that both teams are feeling this one in their legs. Difficult conditions underfoot, of course. As Albert carries up, a few crucial offloads from him in the first half. Will they be looking for one more moment of magic like that to win this game? Addy brings it out to the left, maybe some space here for Akins to exploit, but he's dealt with. This is the last, so the kick's going to come from just inside the Wakefield half. It's a high one, spiralling around. It's Luke Gale that's underneath it. He's done well in the end. The former England international, just to bring that in, and now Lachlan Walmsley brings it up towards the 30-metre line. Every play, every tackle just weighted with significance in this game as we wait to find out who wins this one. And it does feel like every tackle could produce an error or an attacking opportunity.
It's getting nervy, isn't it? You can see the ones who want the ball in their hand, but that ball's like it's like a little snowball. It's collecting mud as it goes along, and the passes aren't crisp. It's getting difficult.
Well, they come over to the left-hand side. Franco could have some space here. Gale's done really well. They look to drag him into touch, but the ball's come away. So Jowett could have a gap to get through here. Just loses his footing. This is the last. So they'll come out to Gale. He'll put the kick up. Spiralling. Wormsley putting Wakakoko under pressure. He's done well in the end.
What a
He's done really well.
That's fantastic. What a Wakakoko. That's absolutely outstanding take.
And he's not always been too reliable, has he, in the second half under those?
He's looked nervous every time he's touched the ball for me. His carry just doesn't seem secure. He's got it really tucked under old school, under that left arm there. He came up with one error, but that was a great catch under pressure.
You just wonder, looking at this pitch and looking what the conditions are like, in between those tram lines up the middle, which is where you would probably think this game is going to be played, would you be looking to kind of spread it out wider now as play the ball's just looking a little bit treacherous, a little bit risky?
I just don't think the transactions, we just see him keeping the ball in those.
To keep the ball alive.
Effort, yeah.
Kick goes up for Jowett to take, and he's done really well. Really good effort.
The answer's no, I wouldn't. You just need field position, and then it'll be a lead ball, it'll be a missed tackle. It'll be a missed tackle. Somebody's got to break a tackle.
Franco plays the ball. It is usually that time of the game, Paul. I'll be asking you to give me your Betfred player of the match, but
not a clue.
We'll leave it for now because someone is going to win this game for their side. We just don't know who yet. Golden Point, of course, a very real possibility. We just stopped the clock for a head injury. I can't see particularly clearly who's down.
Is it Bowden?
Could well be.
It's Bowden, like maybe a bit of a crusher in there.
Wait there, four.
Here's the issue. There's maybe just a bit of a crusher. It is Bowden. A little bit of a crusher, maybe a little bit of a swinging arm. He's back up on his feet. So we will carry on. There are no kit colours anymore, just mud. But someone in that mud is going to score the winning point in this game. 3 minutes to decide it in normal time. Or golden point as the kick goes up from Gale, bouncing around Akins with time to take it in cleanly. He's met by Lino. Wakefield looking to pin Featherstone in. A lot of metres to cover for the home side. As they look to bring it out of yardage. Now they come out to the left. Lino just sticking on to Connor Wynn there as he looked to spin away, restricting the metres made. Addy dropping it off to Wellington Albert. He's brought down. This is the last. So Featherstone kicking from pretty deep inside their own half. The kick pressure's good. In the end, the kick does get away. And it's another difficult one. It's Luke Gale underneath it again. And he spilt it. It was a horrible kick to have to deal with. Got caught up in the wind. And Luke Gale had a couple of grabs at it, but it's an error and a real opportunity for Featherstone as the seconds continue to tick away.
Right, so it's the biggest set of the game, isn't it, for Featherstone? They've just got to finish this set in a good manner, in a positive manner, on their terms. They don't have to score points in this set now, because if they finish it not on their terms, then they're going to end up at the other end of the field with lots of regrets. Just finish it on their terms and just play a little bit patient. They'll get 2 cracks now, 2 sets. 2 sets they'll get.
What they don't want to do is come up with an error of their own. Lacans brings us out to the right-hand side.
Move! Stand square! Ready. Go.
Wakefield line speed, still pretty good, considering how late in the game it is.
Great carry, great carry.
I think that's Jones back onto the field, just having a go from dummy half. Addy brings us out to the left-hand side. Gale coming in off his wing. Tony Renouf gets out to him, Bowden as well. Probably negative meters on that play from a Featherstone perspective. Jones brings us back out to the left.
5.
That's a good set from Wake.
I think that's Fishwick with the carry. Difficult to tell with these jerseys just caked in mud, but this is the last. The kick goes in over the top. It's not a good one, and Walmsley deals with it and looking to get away. The kick pressure isn't bad though, so Wakefield are starting deep inside their own half.
No, discipline though. You've got to have some discipline. What a good set from Wakefield defensively. It was a big set for them.
Walmsley making his second carry of the set. Not getting a huge amount of meters out of that.
Go, 3.
Tony Renouf met well.
Yeah, good challenge. Put him down.
And this will slow the play the ball down as well.
Good.
Although he manages to stay on his feet, which sped it up a little bit. And the referee is just going to bring that back. I think it was Yule who thought he'd got a second bite of the cherry, but this is the last. So the kick needs to come in. It's a little bit disjointed. There's the hooter. So Wakefield aren't able to make anything of it. And my word, poor Ollie. After 80 minutes, and nothing to separate these two sides, and we're going to golden point.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I wonder if we could have a kick change just for us so we can see who's who, because they're all mingling into one at the minute. But, you know, it's probably... both teams, we said it earlier, don't they? Both teams will have so much regret for opportunities they could have taken, things they could have done so much better, just lacked a little bit of composure, probably from the Featherstone point of view. And then in terms of Wakefield, just a little bit on their execution there, and a few too many errors there, in particular that Luke Gale one, which was a big one there at the end. But I'll be honest, I think the important thing for me is, and the big play in this one is, as I'm watching half the fans go home, I'm not sure they understand it's golden point. There's a lot wandering off, but the announcement's just going to come on. But
maybe just trying to take a risk on one more pint before golden point.
Who's going to play down the hill? Does it automatically swap? Is it Featherstone down the hill, or do they have to do a toss up?
I think there's a toss.
So this is a big flip of the coin. Who's going to play down the hill? Because I think we've seen already. This has been a game of two halves, and the hill and the conditions have pretty much dictated and dominated the flow, the tempo, and the territory of this entire 80 minutes.
Who are the key men in this? If we're looking at potential match winners, obviously there is the coin toss. It looks from those pictures as if it is Wakefield who are going to have the advantage of the hill, going left to right.
Well, they're the favourites.
And it will be Featherstone kicking off. So perhaps an opportunity to put the ball deep and try and keep Wakefield stuck deep inside their own half.
Well, we've got to point to the people who can kick the drop goals, which is Gale and Leno. But I'm going to make a prediction that this game doesn't get won on a drop goal. Either a try or a penalty.
Well, it's a cup game, of course, so we have to find a winner. We will be here until we do. A place in the 6th round of the Betfred Challenge Cup on the line. Next score wins. We've got all the way to golden point. We knew this one would be interesting. It's lived up to the hype. Who wins this? As the kick goes deep, and Leno just gets a foot to it to slow it down. So Wakefield will start with possession, but deep inside their own half. Renouf met well by Addy.
So Rob Hicks just texted me and said the winner of the toss-up gets the choice of which way to play or the kick. So
there you go. Thanks for joining us, Rob. Thanks for your input. Sure he's enjoying this one, as I'm sure everyone is on the Sportsman. An absolute classic so far. Going all the way. This is the last. Wakefield have made decent territory on this, but this kick is hugely important as it comes out to Luke Gale. It's right up in the air. Aikens underneath it, does well. And his carry will take Featherstone up to the 22-metre line. Now they come out to right outside, and Wakako just juggling it a little bit, hearts in mouths for a second, but brings it in cleanly and up to the 30-metre line. Josh Griffin, Romain Franco, Mason Lino all in the tackle. Every man to the pump. Addy just sticking it at the jumper, looking to get it over halfway. Still a couple of tackles to spare. Springer back onto the field. And the kick comes in over the top. Not a bad kick at all.
Well done.
It's Walmsley who's gone chasing after it. And he does gather it cleanly, but the kick chase is good, and Wakefield have got a lot of space to make up.
Yeah, it's a great kick. He's done really well there. He's kicked off shape. He's kicked early because there's been a lot of pressure. The ball's muddy, like I said, so the service from dummy half sloppy. So he's gone early when he's got more time on the front foot. Really smart play, and a good chase to the boot as well.
And it always feels like an error. He's not that far away in these conditions. If you put him into the corner and defend aggressively, you never know. Wakefield having to bring it deep from inside their own half, and this time they will kick early as Gale puts the kick over the top for Akins to deal with. He does. He just about. He got a hand to it, but he went backwards.
Oh, good carry.
And actually, he's made some decent meters on the return. So Featherstone just edging ahead in the arm wrestle, starting off in the best position so far in this golden point. That's Gale coming back in off his wing, just short of halfway, about 5 metres short. Jones at play the ball brings us to the left. Addy out to Brad Day. Day met by 3 Wakefield defenders. And just look to turn him round, and they do. Just get him on his back and slow that play the ball down. So he's off a static start, but the ball comes out to Addy. He just pins his ears back. Comes into the line. This is the last.
Oh, he's gone drop goal.
He's gone for the drop goal. Didn't really look like they had a plan for that final play. He's gone for it in the end. And it was never on, was it?
No, it's never on. No, it's 7 players as well. Just no chance. Against the wind, 30 metres out the mud.
So Lachlan Walmsley bringing it up over the 30-metre line. Could that be a real turning point? Shouts for an error at the play the ball. Nothing giving. Wakefield just short of halfway. Ewell will bring it up over that halfway line. Begana offering himself up as an option there. Didn't happen. Now they come out to the right. Lino brings it up to the line, and Josh Griffin comes up with the error, and there's some space here. Gale could be away. Gale could be away to win the cup tie. He's going for the corner. He's going to make it. Featherstone Rovers win in the most dramatic of circumstances. Gareth Gale goes 60 metres in golden point, and Featherstone Rovers are in the 6th round of the Betfred Challenge Cup. We always said there was a chance of an error at any given point. It's Josh Griffin who spilled it. Gareth Gale on hand to clean up and go all the way. And a famous win for Featherstone, Paul.
Oh, well, you can only just, it's like, this is as old school as it gets. The fans are like jumping on the pitch. Everybody is black from head to toe. And like we said before, it was going to come off an arrow, wasn't it? Somebody's going to have to break a tackle, or it's going to come off an arrow, or a lack of discipline. Here's the try as we speak. It's Mason Lino.
Lino up to the line.
Yeah,
if there's one man on the field you didn't want that ball to fall into, Gareth Gale with the pace, even in the mud.
And it looked like there were people there who could cover him as well, but then you started picking out who the players were. It was young Vergana, the big prop. He was never going to chase Gale down, was he? And, well, it's fantastic from Featherstone. They've had to hold on for the whole 40 minutes. They've been dominated for 40 minutes to get to golden point. They've had a few chances, they've messed up. And like I say, persistence, resilience, all them words you want, adjectives you want to be described as a football team, as a rugby team. Well, Featherstone had that today, and it was Gale who's come up with a match winner, and well deserved.
We've been building it up for 2 weeks since it was drawn out. Boy, did it deliver. What a game. Horrendous conditions. but incredible entertainment served up from these two teams, and it is Featherstone who will be in the draw for the next round. Paul, we waited until the end. I don't know how you're going to choose it, rather you than me, but who is your Betfred player of the match?
Yeah, I mean, really difficult decision, to be honest, but I just think the person who had the ball in his hands most, who wanted the ball in his hands when it got tough and when it got pressurised, and had pieces of quality all over the park, for me it was Danny Addy. I thought he's a real leader for Featherstone, Danny Addy.
So there you go, Danny Addy is your Betfred player of the match, part of this victorious Featherstone team. These two sides, well, we've had to wait since 1998 to see them in a competitive game. 2024, Featherstone Rovers get the first spoils. We'll obviously see them play each other a couple of times throughout this season in the Betfred Championship. But this evening, it is Featherstone who are into the next round of the Challenge Cup. The jubilant scenes here at Post Office Road. And what a way to win it as well. All the way to Golden Point. And when you think about times in that second half, Paul, they were really, really under the cosh. Wakefield started the second period like a house on fire, got themselves on top, and 60 minutes in, it looked all the world as if they were going to pull away. Featherstone did really well to kind of pull the game back into their hands and then win it in dramatic fashion.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, I think it's the 60-minute mark. It looked like Wakefield were just going to continue dominated, and it was a matter of time before they just kept getting over the line, and it looked like they'd win by a couple of tries. To be honest, it was in that much control, but it were all going to plan at that point, and then the errors came, didn't they? And Featherstone dug the way and clawed the way back into it, and like I say, resilience won the day for Fev.
Well, a breathless 80 minutes plus 85 minutes nearly of rugby league here at the Millennium Stadium in the Betfred Challenge Cup. We'll just take a reminder of how it all unfolded. The Featherstone Rovers celebrating. This is that first try of the second half. Wakefield getting the numbers right. Oliver Pratt going in over in the corner, get his team on the scoreboard for the first time. And it just looked at this point, Wakefield was starting to click. Yeah, absolutely. The strength of carry, wasn't it? It was sucking the defence in, so they were just pulling them out of shape a little bit, causing a little bit of chaos. And you can see even here now, people coming in, the centre comes in real tight. He didn't need to, but it's from the strength of carry and from the speed of the ruck, who Smith made a difference. We pointed that out earlier. And again, they squeezed in at the corner, good handling. And it looked too easy at this point for Wakefield. Territory was proving pivotal. And we said at that point, it looked like Wakefield well on top would kick on and go to win. It didn't happen. Featherstone clawing themselves back into it. There's the penalty that levelled things up. And then this is the moment. Just a split second too quick from Griffin. Pass behind him. Gale, the benefactor. And with all that space in front of him, even in the mud, too quick. Well, I'm going to say Luke Gale will be fuming there at Mason Lee. I've said all day, don't need to play at the line. And he's tried to play a lead back there, right at the line, didn't need to. Territory was all that they needed Wakefield, and they'd come away winners. But so, master of their own downfall in that point. But what I will say is, I thought both clubs were fantastic, really. Both teams were fantastic in really testing conditions. And a little nod there to the ref as well, Ben Taylor, another local lad as well. So had a local feel, and I think everybody contributed to a bit of a spectacle, really, in the mud. Yeah, brilliant celebrations. That try right in front of the sportsman cameras. Featherstone in the next round of the Betfred Challenge Cup. And we can hear from the player of the match now, Danny Addy.
Danny, first of all, many congratulations on the result there. Obviously, an emphatic way to progress to the next round of the Challenge Cup. But from a personal point of view, you've got yourself the award of the Betfred Player of the Match. Congratulations.
Yeah, cheers. I think we're really dug in as a team there. Tough conditions, as you can see. It was a tough game. Wakefield are a great team, coached well with Darryl Powell, some great individuals, a good team. So sort of felt like we were just hanging in there for that second 40. You know, we dug in the first half and got a couple of tries. But you know, I said it at half time, the game's far from done, and you know, I think we just did well as a team to dig in and hang on there.
And emotionally, obviously, you're going into Golden Point there, using up an awful lot of energy. You forwards, just how did it feel right at the very end there to clinch that victory?
Yeah, I mean, I were about 80 metres back on my knees. Gaz Gale, when he gets in open space like that, is something special, and you know, just hoping and praying about, like I say, about 80 metres away that he'll finish it and he come up with a good one there.
And today's game was always going to be a massive game for both clubs, a local derby. I've no doubt that you've trained real hard for today and you will have come with a game plan. Does that game plan change slightly when you turn up and obviously the pitch is so heavy and the rain as well? Yeah,
we've done a lot of work on Wakefield the last two weeks. Like I said, they're a great side, and yeah, a bit like you said, you come with a game plan and you have to change it on move really. When pitch chews up like that, you know, that's one of the worst underfoot that I've played on. But yeah, changed the game plan a little bit, but I think it were more, you know, sometimes in them games, game plan goes out the window and it's all about just digging in as a team, and I thought we did that well today.
You talk about the underfoot conditions there, but when you have to adapt the game plan at last minute, how does that affect a player mentally? Yeah,
I'm not sure it affects him mentally too much. I think, you know, we're all rugby players, we do it all the time, you know, so I think, you know, everybody, as long as everybody knows the role, we're a bit sound.
Danny, great performance from yourself, great performance from your team, many congratulations. We'll now bring in your head coach, James Ford, who I've no doubt is absolutely delighted. James, many congratulations on that victory there. Just sum up your emotions there towards the end, going into Golden Point and obviously getting that victory.
I don't know how I looked, but I felt pretty calm. We just spoke about surprisingly not going for pot shots. You know, if the 1 pointer wasn't there for us, just put the ball in the corner, go after them in our 20 trap D stuff, and wait for a real golden opportunity. Obviously, that was probably lost in translation between English and French, because I think we went for a couple of chancy ones, and that gave Wakey opportunity. You know, give him a 7 tackle set on our 20, and that's exactly what we wanted to avoid. But overall, I'm really proud of the players. Both sets of players have turned up and played in really challenging conditions. There's no between them. You know, for 84 minutes, no between them. Both sets of teams have worked their backsides off. But from a Fev perspective, incredibly proud of how together we are after such a short period of time, and how hard we work for one another.
James, you talked there about not a lot between the sides, but what was between the sides at full time was obviously that final try there from Gareth Gale. Just talk us through that try and what was going through your mind at the end.
I think Wakey had some opportunity, didn't we, some shape. And obviously I think we talked about the conditions and making it difficult to strip teams. Well, we both like to play with the ball, and if in doubt, come and shut down. And from memory, I think we came and put pressure on the ball carrier, and he spilled it a little bit like lots of other people did. So you can't put any blame on him. But Gaz Gale was very quick to react, picked it up, and off he went, the big man.
And obviously, James, you know, a lot of people are looking at Wakefield this season. They're virtually everybody's early season favourites. Just how much confidence will that give you today? The fact you've gone toe to toe with Wakefield, I get the conditions and everything else, but how much confidence will that give you internally?
Oh, listen, we're on a journey, mate. You know, obviously, as I said before the game, there's 20 odd players left the club. We're rebuilding. There's some new players coming in next week. We're still forming combinations and building relationships. We're going to get better as the season goes on. What everybody else does, I am interested in. You know, I'm interested in Featherstone Rovers and how far we can go on this journey.
And speaking of it being interesting in Featherstone Rovers, you have another tough game in 7 days' time away at Batley. How have you come through today's game in terms of injury-wise?
I don't know yet, mate. You grabbed me straight away, didn't you? But obviously Jack Buses, he came off after a couple of minutes. Obviously it was a bit of a calculated gamble with Buses. Such an important play for us. He was outstanding at Keighley. And I felt if he could get a good 20-25 minutes out of me, it'd go a long way towards winning the game. Unfortunately, it looks like he's tweaked his hamstring again, and he'll be missing for a couple of weeks, and we'll miss him because he's a good player, but gives opportunity to other people. And we've signed players from the middle of League One, we've signed players from the amateurs, we've signed players from Super League reserves, and as I said, we're on a journey, and I can't wait to see how far we can go.
James, we'll let you go back to the players in the dressing rooms. Congratulations.
Yeah, mate. Cheers, pal.
Well, there's James Ford, a man who's pinned through the ringer this afternoon. That absolute roller coaster.
Got to win. Talk us through that one, mate.
It's unbelievable, mate, isn't it? We've worked all week for that. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we've dug deep. We've worked on Wakefield, what they're going to do, and we've executed well that there. We went through a bit of a patch in the second half where we thought, I didn't think we was going to lose it, but we'll let them back into the game a bit. They got them 10 points back, but honestly, I've got no words for that. They're a full-time, we're part-time. It's massive for us. Getting knocked them out of the Challenge Cup and we go progress against more Super League teams as well. So, yeah.
Just how hard did we work? Everything was left out on that pitch, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I could barely run at the end. My calf went at the end, so you just had to keep going for the boys. And that feeling now, I'll rest up and we'll go for Batley again next week. But that's unbelievable, class from all the boys, and honestly, for Fordy as well. He's worked his socks off for us this week, hardy, steady, and we've all just dug in and we've got that win over the line.
Connor, enjoy the win, get in the sheds, mate.
Thank you, cheers.
How good does that feel?
Yeah, good to be back, man, good to be back. It's good to always get a win from our local rivals, so it's good to get that win.
How hard did the boys work this afternoon?
Yeah, we worked really hard, man. It's the pitch is really muddy and our legs were heavier, but we keep working hard, and finally, at the end of the game, the result, we got the result, so pretty happy with the boys.
And your first game, how did your lungs feel?
Yeah, once gone, but I think 3-4 minutes into the game, but the boys helped me out during the game as well, so credit to the boys.
And there was never any doubt when Gaz Gale got the ball in his hands and was racing away, it was try time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was running on the sideline as well, and when Kelly got that ball, we know it's try.
Wellington, enjoy the win, mate.
Thank you very much.
Betfred Challenge Cup tie here at the Millennium Stadium in Featherstone. It is his Rovers side who march on to the next round. 14-10, winning it in Golden Point. Paul, as an 80 minutes of rugby league, maybe not one for the purists in the conditions, but as 80 minutes of entertainment, it doesn't get much better than that, does it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought, in particular, the first 40 minutes were disciplined, really disciplined from both sides with the ball and in terms of foul play, etc. So, and then, but in these conditions, the errors are always going to come out there. And it was the second half that I'd got a little bit scratchy at times, and Featherstone just seemed to be drowning there in the deep end. But like I said before, they prove resilient. They've got some spirit, haven't they? Both teams have a lot of character, a lot of spirit. And it came down to an error that really decided it, and obviously a clean pair of heels from Gale there to churn up 60 metres and a fitting end to a great game. Really, both sides did fantastically well, like I said before. So I don't think I'll have much bearing on the season. I don't think we can get much of a gauge on it from this. There's a long way to go, and I think we'll see Wakefield having a really strong season, but Featherstone will be chomping in all thereabouts along with them.
Well, Paul, thank you for joining us this afternoon. An absolute stomper of a Betfred Challenge Cup tie. Featherstone Rovers in the hat for the next round. The draw is tomorrow night. Paul will be watching on Kingsley, of course, with Salford and the rest of the Betfred Super League clubs joining the fray. Thank you for joining us on the Sportsman Rugby League. Don't forget, the last tackle is back on Wednesday as ever on 6 o'clock. We'll be having a look at that 6th round draw with everybody else, and we'll see you again very shortly. That is a remarkable finish.
Yes, we are ready, ready. Yes, we are ready, ready. Ooh, ah, ooh. James Ford through to the next round of the Challenge Cup. Just how proud were you of your team's performance today?
Well, first and foremost, I want to commend both sets of players. Really, very challenging conditions, and everybody on that field gave absolutely everything, and they done nothing between the sides for 80 minutes, and it took 85 minutes for one team to pinch it. So well done to both sets of players. But selfishly, from a Fed perspective, really pleased for our supporters. Obviously, I know that there's been one or two a bit down and in the dumps after how we got beat by London last year. Hopefully that goes some way towards making up to them. And I'm just incredibly proud of the team. It's a new team. We're on a journey. I've been going with that narrative since day one, and we are. It's true. But I'm really proud how together we've become so quickly and how hard we work for one another. Obviously, the conditions limited both teams into what they could serve up with the ball today. We knew that game would be won on desire, so well done, boys. I'm really proud of you.
And is that what you're putting today's win down to, desire in the end?
Absolutely. He certainly won't run by free-flowing, attacking rugby in shape. And reactions to quick play the balls and offloads, as we've been showing in previous games. We played in 2-inch of mud, and it's just been just guts and desire and fight and spirit, and not wanting to let your mate down. And I saw that in abundance today, and that's how you build teams on that.
There was no stopping Gaz Gale then, was there, when the ball went in his hand?
No, mate. He's a good player. He's Gaz. Obviously moved him into the centre today. He hasn't played there. Well, he played there for 20 minutes against Dewsbury in a trial game. That's it. I think he played in the centres at Lions as an amateur player. So I think he's handled himself tremendously well today, because he's been up against some top class players, and you wouldn't have thought that was his first game in the centre for a while.
One down, on to the next one now, next week into the league against Batley. We know what Batley are all about. We've experienced it early on this year, so go again next week and rip into Batley.
Yeah, I think that's a good message, that, mate. It's one game. You know, we've beaten Wakey once. We don't want to be a team that just ups our game once and then falls away. We need to build on that. You know, there's lots of foundation work there for us, and there's a massive desire in that dressing room to get better. I hope they enjoy themselves tonight. But again, we're challenging to be better this week individually and collectively, and we'll need to be against a very good Batley team.